Boom. Big up, big up, big up, and welcome to the Liberal 12th Man Show. It is a finally Friday episode with a little bit of a match review and also a little bit of team talk, a little bit of like possible venting if necessary. But all the same, we are going to be live and direct today with you, and I am going to be joined by my definitely faithful friend and fellow Red, Lee. How are you?
Excellent, mate. Excellent.
Good.
It was just a good day, wasn't it? The other results, especially the Chelsea one. I mean, Arsenal have yet to play, haven't they? But it was a really good day, wasn't it, for us?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
even
Yeah,
United
it was.
didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely good day because, we got the win. I know some people have other things that are like that are like the top priority on their list to talk about, but I'd like to talk about some of the really like positive things. I think that like one thing I would just like to say off the very bat, off the jump, the rip, the gate, however you want to reference it, and that is I certainly want to talk about the fact that we have a unique journey that we're going on here, and it's something where we are top of the league, plural, actually top of the leagues. We just won against a team that we should win against, but it was the final game of 2024 at Anfield. So we end the year correctly in our theater of dreams, or our theater of our theater of Reds of hope. I should call it the theater of hope. And we also, because I think that there is something else. There's another place called that in the league, so I'll move on from it. And it is a case where we are witnessing. It's something that I've been pointing out. And I'm trying to highlight more so than those that want to be the negative Nancys out there. We are witnessing history. We are witnessing living legends play in our game for our club. And it is a beautiful, absolutely beautiful thing to watch. When you really, really separate yourself from all the people, crying and bemoaning about this and about that and about this player, or about, the play of the day for that player, or this, something like. It's one of those things where I'm just like, yeah, but we won.
Mm-hmm.
We won.
Yeah, it was a good performance from Gakpo, wasn't it? He was unlucky to have that other one just ruled out by that offside. It was tight, wasn't it? But could have had two. He played really well, didn't he? And it's good to see like that we were able to rest Diaz. I mean, he didn't come off the bench, did he, Diaz?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love the character of this club and this team, I should say, that when some players aren't having the greatest of games, they might be having poor games, they might be having, mediocre games. They might be having just slightly subpar or maybe slightly above par games. But there are players on this team that have had their opportunities to step up, and they do. Mohamed Salah obviously has done it consistently. I mean, there's parts and points in games where you might think he goes missing. Very similar to Cody's at times. you might go, oh, like this player, like what is going on with them? And you're maybe screaming at them to do this or do that. Excuse me. Yet they step up and have that moment. And it's one of those cases where, like, yeah, okay, you're not entertained from minute 0 to to that 90th minute, possibly from that individual's performance. You might not even be entertained by the entire group of players for the entire 90 minutes. But I can tell you this team sets out with a mission. They make the necessary corrections, whether it's at halftime or even during the first half or during that second half. And they have been 99% of the time getting it right. And something to like really, really think about when like you reflect back on the year and like you go, oh, we're hopefully sitting there with that title, about to like targeting out where we're gonna stand in the parade, because that's something I hope that I could be a part of this year, or this upcoming year in 2025. If we're so blessed to have one, if not, a mega one. And it's one of those cases where I'm just like, do I want to reflect back on like the year and say 3/4 of our season, all I did was complain and just nag and just moan and just, no. This year has been spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
And we're about to move into the 2025, about to get into the second half of this season. We're about to embark on our 4th tournament that that obviously we're involved in all tournaments. Or embarking this 4th tournament that FA Cup will be joining the confines of our schedules. And I'm excited about this year. I was excited about this year when I got the opportunity to go see this team play live. Yeah. That was a blessing. I was able to see my family, go back east, everything. And it was parts and points about that. I was just like, I'm getting to a part and point where I'm like, I am appreciative about being on this ride, being a part of this journey. And I'm so happy that there are people like yourselves in the chat, on the panel, that are reflecting on that pure beauty too. I know this is like, might be someone say, oh, stop being a football romantic. But realistically, you know what? If you can't find the beauty in the game, what's the part of calling it the beautiful game in itself?
If you're not enjoying this season that much, like, then there's something wrong with you. Do you know what I mean? It's a very enjoyable time, isn't it?
Exactly.
Usually somebody was bashing Trent or something for his performance. I mean, he had an outstanding performance against Spurs, and you can't play like that every week. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Leicester are a better team than people give them credit for. I think I don't see them going down. They've got better players than many other lower outfits. I think, you know what I mean. They're not that bad a side, really.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have had a couple more goals, couldn't we, as well? It was nice that we were able to rest Diaz. We hardly used Jota. I've just been reading a story in the Echo on my phone, the Liverpool Echo, saying Canate's, looking good now on that fitness-wise. So we'll be seeing him in the next few matches, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I think he'll probably bring him in like for a half or something, won't he? He won't like bring him back. He'll bring him back in slowly, won't he? I think. I hope he does anyway. Because at the moment, we're doing all right, aren't we? We're winning games. Yes, I want him back because he's a great centre half, but Joe's doing a good job, and Joe's like played himself into form now, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's not absolutely. I mean, like I've seen people. Just the fact that we are letting him some more goals than we did in the beginning of the year. I've heard people like, I get the banter. I get when you have to, especially for some of us content creators that go on other panels or have to deal with maybe being in the chats of other channels, and you have to have people speak on, oh well, you know, your defense is this, or your defense isn't as good as you think it is, and blah 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 blah. And then they'll deflect to say, oh well, we don't have Konate in it, and that's the reason why we're not this or not that. Look, I think Joey G has done a very commendable job in as being someone that is holding it down for us in the center back spot. I think that we're fortunate to have Joey G in that he's had the experience that he has. He's a player that has gone through all the ups and downs. He's gone through the wire, as we like to say here in the side of the pond. And I don't think that we are letting in more goals or this or that simply because Joey G is there. It's other things. Maybe it could be the competition. You got to sometimes give credit to who your opposition is. Sometimes you have to just say the fact of like, yeah, you know, some players have good games, some players have bad games, but all the same, I am happy with the performances or what we've been seeing from the partnership of Joey G and VVD. I don't think it's a bad one. I think it's actually a fortunate one, considering that Konate is a viable piece of the puzzle, and is someone that is important. But
yeah,
I don't want to. I don't like it when people like try to be like, oh, you know, oh, we're not doing well defensively now. Oh, but that's because Joey G. That's because Konate's not in. It's Joey G's in there. I'm like, no.
Such a James Roberts picked up.
Joey's doing a good job.
Come on, isn't it? That he can't play the West Ham game because Slotty even come out and said it, didn't he? Afterwards, he said that's what I was doing, I was resting him for this, and then I could have him a full pelt for West Ham. Picks up a book and can't bloody play.
Yeah.
That. But it, you know, we've got players. We've got Jonesy. Jonesy scored a great goal. Elliott's there as well, isn't he? He needs him. Having to use the squad, like, aren't we? Having to use pretty much all our players. One of my favourite bits of the match was Robbo's header. That header was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, another player that you know, another player that was being you know, thrown over the coals yesterday, you know, by some people in different chats and even in our own chat at one point by individual. But yeah, there's something we have Lee, we have also Brian, and we also, I know Brian's got a show coming up. Be sure to subscribe and also check out Brian's show. He's got a show coming up right after, if not maybe close to where we're going to end this show. And JK is with us as well, and I wanted to make sure I bring them in and say hello. So Brian, how are you doing?
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Do
I know it's at 2:00, I believe, or it's in an hour and a half. I think your show was I think, right?
No, that was going to be today, 2 p.m. our time. I had to.
My fault.
I had to cancel. I had some.
I got you. My apologies.
Busy day.
Okay, I thought you meant 2 p.m. my time. That's why. No.
I got you. No. Yeah, if anybody was watching out for that, yeah, sorry, I had to delete that one. I didn't get a chance to do any. I only got home really about half an hour ago. Out and about all day doing different things, so I didn't get a chance to. But yeah, we'll do so. I'll be doing something soon. Don't worry. I'll be doing something soon. Yeah, definitely.
And we also have JK in the house. How you doing, JK?
All good, bro. All good. How you guys do?
Yeah. Good. Yeah. We've been just chatting a little bit, trying to talking about the party and everything that or the ride that we're on, the journey that we're on with this club, and how it's distinctly different also from the other clubs. Let me just highlight the fact of how different our journey is this campaign as opposed to those out there that are on their own club's journeys this year, you know. And it's just something to appreciate. You know, Brian brought up a point yesterday. I heard a good friend of the show and someone that is a fellow Red, obviously. I heard Andy speak on his show today. He was giving a review of the Leicester game, And he talked about this simple fact of when he saw the bench for our club, and that's knowing, and that for my part, knowing that we still have two very, very important players that are on the men right now, in both Bradley and Konate. But seeing our bench and seeing how strong of a bench we had, considering that we had our starting 11 out there, that was a very formidable starting 11. It was one of those cases that this is starting to look good, you know. This is, I mean, like it was the times of it's beginning to really come together, you know, and maybe we can get through a lot of these difficult times. We don't have an AFCON to have to deal with this year. We don't have, like, you know, we're dealing with teams like Chelsea, who I think they're more pretenders than contenders, to be honest with you. That's just my own personal opinion.
Yeah.
But like we're dealing with, you know, we're seeing them drop points, you know. We're seeing City go through an absolute nosedive when it comes to their season. I don't even know, like, as in there are citizens out there that have checked out the whole 5 or 6 citizens that are content creators out there. All of a sudden, you're like, where are you? You know,
Slot saying all the right things, you know, because he keeps getting asked, you know, have you already won it? You know, it's going to be hard not to win it from here, isn't it, Arnie? And you know, this is the line of questioning in it from a few journalists, like, you've already won it, haven't you? And he's like, no.
Yeah, I know that. I agree.
That was like, we haven't won anything.
I agree.
Though. And the players are backing him up, because, like, he talked to Curtis about that type of thing, didn't he? And he was like, yeah, we're doing well, but, you know, we're going to keep on performing every game because we know we have to. So it's just good to hear that.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about it. That's the whole thing, and that's blessed. That's blessed, Bernie. That's well, that's a blessed word. Thank you. But what Hylor said to earlier in the chat, he made a point about, like, you know, there's Leicester, perfect case, or you know, they had a little bit of that new, you know, what they call the manager bounce, you know.
Yeah, I was watching, I can't remember what I was watching, and they pulled up a stat saying Liverpool have been in front of Christmas like 22 times and only won the league 11 times. So, yeah, there you go. We only won the league, you know, half the times that we've been in front of Christmas. Nobody's taken anything for granted. We've been through this in recent seasons where it looked like we were going to win the league and didn't. So I wouldn't be taking nothing for granted. I'm enjoying it, and it's brilliant, and I'm getting into it, but I'm not, like, you know, going around boasting, going, yeah, you know, it's all done. There's no competition where you know what I mean? Because it's a tough league. It is a tough league, and Slot referenced that, didn't he, the other day? He said it's a tough league, this. You know what I mean? Because
it is.
I don't think he's getting fed up with it, but I think it does hurt him a little bit to constantly be told, you know, oh, how can you lose it from here, and aren't you doing great? Do you know what I mean? That type of stuff.
Yeah, like, agreed. That's why people are, you know, what's funny is that a lot of our rivals, especially our rivals, and even some neutrals, are basically they're conceding the league as in saying, oh, they have to win, or they must win. But they're even pressing and pushing a lot of us to say, oh, you know, are you going to win the league? Are you going to win the league now? Are you going to win the league? And they keep pressing and pushing people, especially content creators out there, so that they can try to get clipped up in case something doesn't go our way, or something happens to the point where, you know, we end up, coming up short in this campaign. And it's one of those cases that, I'm already on the books of saying that we were going to win the league before we started this campaign. So I already have us winning this league. So, like, the clip of me saying it is already there. Okay. And I'm not going to say that we're going to win the league every year, but I probably will say most of the years I will say that. I mean, you know, because I think that most of the time
go on forever, and I'd enjoy it. But, like, now that we're getting to the halfway point, the United game's the halfway point. So after that, I'll be counting the games down. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wait until we get like 10 and see where we are when we've got 10 games left. But I'm not getting too carried away. just
I
happy.
just also think that a lot of the things have fallen into place for us, nicely into place for us. And it's just one of those cases where it's like, yeah, I get that we have some difficult games in that second half of the season. We have some difficult fixtures against some teams at their home grounds, you know. But all the same, we'll get to them when we get to them. Only game we can concentrate on is the next game, which is West Ham. Let's not slip up at West Ham. Let's continue to get these W's, you know, and continue to march on. And then, you know, and as we get to the Etihad game, as we get to, I don't know, going to Everton for the derby, as we get to those games later on in the season, hey, we'll deal with them.
Yeah, I'm
But
thinking
right
he
now,
might use the
concentrate on
remaining 2 Champions League games to bed Ibu back in. You'll give him some action in them games. Now, we don't necessarily have to play him. We could play Jones, you know. But I think he probably will use them 2 Champions League games to help Ibu and to help himself, Slot, to help the team, to help the squad. He'll probably bring them back in, you know, piecemeal, only like half an hour, then 45 minutes. Just want him to be right when he comes back as well. Want him to be right, and then he can have his season, hopefully, have the rest of the season.
Yeah. And I agree too, like what Realism Jared says, and I agree. Like I've seen Realism Jared's comments, and you know he's been constructively. Like I don't mind constructive criticism. I don't think I'm not saying that I'm not some person that's going to say that it's all flowers and you know sunshine and roses and candy and gumdrops and whatever, you know, like all that stuff, whatever the saying is, right? I do know that players do need to be constructively analyzed and constructively criticized. I do that myself. There's times and places where I will do it and people will be like, oh, wow, what are you doing, 12? And I just go about saying like, yeah, this player had a poor game because he needed to step up this, and this. But, you know, I believe that he can make those corrections. And if he does this or does that, you know, we can see a different game. Or I'm not going to go to a point where I call the player like, you know, derogatory names or
Cunha's goal from the corner. That goal straight from the corner was a beauty. Why did you see his celebration as well? That made it even tastier, his celebration. Just laughing my head off at that.
Yeah, that's a part and point of why I'm getting at this thing, because
like,
we're at a place and point where like we have a lot of Debbie Downers, a lot of negative Nancys that have, I think, joined in or maybe been converted into being negative Nancys or being formerly positive people or formerly hopeful people, you know, despite everything. And now that we have this like air amongst us that, you know, that perfection is the only thing that we can accept, you know, they just simply are quick to bring down any and every player that they can along this ride. And it's
wasn't it a lovely finish from Muniz for the winner for Fulham? Great finish that. And Dyes was nice as well. And Dyes' finish at the Etihad was nice also. Some nice finishes this weekend. Sorry, this midweek.
Yeah. No. Brian, do you want to chime in, or JK? Do you want to chime in too? I know it might be a little bit too rosy, but all the same. Is they're just trying to keep a little bit of a positive spin on this, considering that there's plenty of places out there you can find the negatives about the club and about the team and how we're crap, or this player's crap, this player's needs to be moved on from, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Brian,
you want to go first?
Go ahead, Judge.
Yeah, no, you go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know what it is? Like, if you were 5th or 6th in the Premier League, outside the qualification section in the Champions League, carry on, you can moan all day. You know, there's something to moan about. But these people are moaning because that's their personality. You know, what are you moaning for? What are you actually moaning about? Yeah, for me, there's a few players who can like step it up a little bit, but all in all, you got to understand, we didn't buy no one in the summer. We've got Chiesa in. He's been injured most of the time. So for me, where we're at right now, you should be counting your blessings and saying, you know what, fair play to the team and the managers and the players in the squad. So for me, there's no time to moan. Support the club. You know, the situation can be totally changed right now. We're top place in both competitions. Like, what is there to moan about?
I don't know. That's the biggest question. You know what I think too is that if you complain and you're negative and you're just, you know, or you're that anchor or that negative Nancy again, like I said earlier, in a campaign in a time and place where we're top of the Champions League, top of the Premier League, going into a semifinal against a team we just beat 6-3, you know, like what happens when we're not doing well? What do you think those people are going to be like when we are really facing adversity?
Or they're when going to be even more boosted.
I know, exactly. Can you imagine?
To worry about. Oh, God,
can you imagine what? That's what I'm trying to get at. Like if we're sitting here and we are dealing with people that sound more like your Arsenal fan base or sound more like even some of your Red Devil fan base, you know, and our season isn't like we're in 14th place like the Red Devils, you know. Our season
that's what you call problems. Yeah,
where
look
you
at
were
United
as the favorites, and now you're watching it. You're watching slowly the chance of opportunity of lifting a trophy in the past 2 decades for your club slip through your fingers and be rightfully taken by a club that has the heritage as well. Like, can you imagine what they're going to be like, JK? Like, can you imagine what type of that's the weird thing about it. It's like, if they're complaining about this, what happens when we are
when something really happens, bad happens, you know? Like for me, the only thing I'm ready to moan about is, and I'll moan then if it happens, is in the end of January. If we haven't really bought no one, just to add to what we've already got, have a moan, you know, about the people who should be buying someone right about now, you know. So other than that, there's nothing to moan about. I think Slot's done really well. And there's no need to moan about him. I said to most of the fans who didn't really know him, just give him time, let the results do the talking for him. And the results have done the talking for him. So for me, fair play to him. So for me, life is good. You should be smiling. Imagine being an Arsenal or a Man United fan right now.
Yep.
You know, even a Man City fan. Let's take it to Man City fan. Imagine being a Man City fan right now and we're in their position. 1 win in 13. Okay? Moan all day. All these fucking people always moaning, man. Like, then moan. Like, you have no need to moan, people. Be happy, man. Be proud, actually. That's the word.
It's also, you know what, too, JK? Because I know that you've been a fan, you've been a supporter of the club for a long time. I know Lee, I know Brian have. I know a lot of the people in our chat have as well. And it's one of those cases where I'm like, I don't know if I heard this much crying and moaning when we were bad, you know, when we were like, like I hear more moaning about these players and more complaining about individual players in particular on this team at times, I think, than I did when we were like, you know, fighting for 5th or 6th place or something, or you know.
Yeah,
Brian.
No, I think I have a theory on why that is. Well, I have 2 theories. One is because when we're bad, people close ranks. You're going to get enough of it from opposition fans when you're doing poorly. People can close ranks a little bit more, but also the fact that everybody has more of a voice these days on social media, so there's more people talking. But I just think really on the whole, like, football fans aren't football fans. They're people who support football clubs, and some people are assholes. Some people are glass half full. Some people are glass half empty. Some people are straight down the middle. You know, it's just, and being on YouTube maybe gives you height and things, but these people when you see these people in chats and they're like being hyper negative about stuff, like, those people are hyper negative about everything. If they go to the shops, they'd be just complaining about the traffic and the weather and the prices and the food and nothing. They're just going to be that kind of person in their whole makeup,
Yeah.
And football as well, like I say, it's a release for people. If someone, again, is being really angry about stuff, I tend to just step back. I mean, there's a little thing on YouTube now where you can unsubscribe from people. I don't know if you know about it, but that's usually what I do. If it's just for that, just unsubscribe from these people. They're not making your life better. So there'll always be people out there. Like, I think it's great to have a good conversation with someone who like really has like a kind of a strong disagreement with you, but does it in a, in a friendly way. Like, I don't like the whole pointless banter crap where it's just slagging each other off in a pretend jokey way. But it's it's good sometimes to have a really good debate with people who have a different opinion to you, but you still have like, it's conflict. You've got kind of basically, you have two reasons for conflict. You have different goals and shared goals. Basically, you have conflict because you've got two people but want the same thing, but they want to do it differently, or they want to do it a different way, or you have conflict because two people want something different. And that's where a lot of it comes, I think, with Liverpool. It's conflict because of shared goals. We all want the same thing, but people will always argue and have conflict about how we should do it and how we should get there. And when that's done in an intelligent way and a even kind of a knowledgeable way, research way, a funny way, that's good, man. That's what, like, there's nothing worse than five lads sitting around the table going, so what do you think about that? I thought it was great. I thought it was great. I thought it was great. Oh, so we're all agreed it was great. That's quite boring. You need a bit of spice. But that's why people always have opinions and different opinions on things. But when it gets into the realm of, slagging each other off and those kind of shouty channels where you got 18 talking heads in a box and you're all just wearing club merch up to the eyeballs, it's just embarrassing.
Yeah.
You can't make out any of it. I mean, it's hard enough to understand what some of these guys are saying most of the time, but when there's 10 of them talking over each other, it's almost impossible.
Uber. And what's the aim of it all? The noise, what are you trying to prove?
I don't know.
But that's the whole thing too, Brian and JK and Lee. I mean, like, what Jimmy and Bernie are saying is, I think it's like super spot on. I'll bring up Jimmy's comment here. Says I might be hopefully I'm not like lagging. But it says a lot of younger fans have not experienced the lean years at our club and sadly expect instant success as they have just jumped on the bandwagon as we have been doing well. I think that immensely is the case for a lot of different fans, because there's some fans that I see that are fans of the club, and I'm just like, I don't think you remember. Like, I hear all these talks about, the club and this and club and that. And I'm like, for instance, I dealt with like, and he's not a fan of this team, but, when I was interacting with Flawless, because he's trying to call me out about like our club. And I was like, I remember the Hicks and Gillette years. That was not a fun episode in this ride, like not having any bit of like, of real aspects of a prosperous future. Huh?
They were terrible, the Roy Hodgson years, weren't they? That was like
exactly. Bernie says, remember the bad days not long ago where you went into a game with no confidence. Now we are confident before every game. New fans don't appreciate the history. I think that's like honestly where I'm at with what my opinion is when I sit here and I'm dealing with some of the fan base that we interact with, like as in some of the fan base have go into this. Like I remember, I'm not calling his name, but like I remember I was dealing with an actual individual on a panel, and I was speaking on, on the 90s, I believe, or something like that, and how like the 90s weren't exactly a glorious decade for Liverpool, but there were some good years in there and for other reasons, but like but I was talking about that and about how like Klopp had restored so much in this club. This is during when Klopp was our coach too, and how he restored so much to our team, and how much like I enjoyed the fact of like there was an essence of hope and belief and like confidence, and there was a surefire sense of, you know what, like you just believed in we would accomplish or be successful even when it was the darkest of nights, you know. And I heard the individual say something on the lines of, well, like, I don't care what happened in the 80s or the 70s, you know, I only want wins now, and it's all about what happens this moment. And I'm just like, you got to recognize the fact of like half of a good percentage of what you stand on when you go into these forums and you talk about your braggadocious ways of saying about how historic Liverpool is and how much of a great club Liverpool is because of all those individual years that have made up the history of this club and what we have now. And if you are quick to forget about your history, then you will have no insight of what the future should hold for you. And that's why it's so short-sighted when I see some of these people talk about the things that they do. And I'm like, you haven't been through the wire like a lot of us have. I openly admit that I was not living through the 80s and 70s of following this club. But yet I'm appreciative of it. I'm appreciative of the fact that of our history, about the players that shaped this, the essence and what is definitively what this club is about from these past decades, to set a bar, to set a line where we say, this is the kind of club that we should have. This is the kind of club, this is the expectations that we should face and reach, because we've reached them before consistently. So like seeing that now in this club is exciting. But I will never forget about the years of yesteryear that maybe I wasn't a part of. Maybe I didn't sit there and watch it on television or pitch side or even like or likes. But chances are, you know what? It's the reason why we have our Throwback Thursdays. You know, why we hop in the DeLorean to go back in time. Why we do these kinds of things, to kind of reflect and say, you know, these are players that are in our history that are legendary players these icons in our history that have made up what we are. And I'm like, it's cool that we are witnessing that today. We're witnessing that today with your Trent Alexander-Arnold, with your Virgil van Dijks, with your Mohamed Salahs, with your Alis or Alisson. Those are the moments and times I'm enjoying. And like, it sometimes rattles the brain a little bit when you see first comment out the door, this player's crap, this player's this player's that, get him out of my club. He's a bozo, he's a donkey, he's this, he's, you know. No, man, it's wild. It's wild. Let's rejoice over the things that we're seeing. I'm going to go over some of the stuff today. I know that was a little bit of a grandiose style rant there, but you know, it's just something that kind of has been getting under my crawl a little bit, because I much rather talk about the fact that one of our living legends is approaching, like I said yesterday, is approaching the conversation, an honest conversation with one of the greatest players to have played in the Premier League era. I think Mohamed Salah is approaching that conversation. I honestly think he is in that conversation, but I can say at least that we should all be in the same camp in thinking that he is approaching that conversation at best with Henry as being one of the greatest players to grace our game in the Premier League era. And he is not only one of the greatest, but most notably, he is a Liverpool Red. And he not only is a Red, he wants to remain a Red. And that is something that is humbling and something that is beautiful to say, because I know plenty of clubs that watch a lot of their players use their team as a jumping pad or a lily pad to just jump to another club. We are not a lily pad. We are a destination club in my mind.
Did you enjoy Curtis's interview where he said he got a text off Klopp congratulating him for the
yes.
It was a great interview, wasn't it? I really enjoyed that.
Yep. I think it's the reason why, like, you know, players leave the club and they often reference they might not have been, you know, they could be Spanish, but they consider themselves Scouser at heart, you know? Like, it's beautiful to see. It's like one of those things where, like, this city is not the big city, big lights, big city of Madrid or Paris, you know? It's just not. But it has some beautiful elements of it, which is it has a club where the people, whether in the city or even globally, absolutely are proud of what these young individuals, these men go out onto the pitch and do each and every time and represent the city well, I just think they do. There is though, like I said, there was a lot of history being made yesterday. There was some history being made by our beloved Egyptian king. I'm going to go back to what I said. I left a comment in one of the chats. I think I got 72 comments now. And what it was is that Mohamed Salah he's reached 100 goals at Anfield. It's a monumental achievement. He's joining the companies of legends like Henry, who I spoke of earlier, Shearer, and even our own Robbie Fowler, which is no small feat. Salah's consistency and impact on the pitch are unmatched, in my opinion, currently in this game. I mean, you're going to have plenty of people.
Wasn't it? Class that finish from Salah last night. It had shades of Fowler about it. That left foot, just like, you know, it.
Yeah.
So, get in the far corner. It was a brilliant goal, wasn't it? It just sums up how he is at the moment, doesn't it? Like he's on fire.
Agreed. Yeah. I'll get through what I had to say, I guess, about the accomplishment, because I wanted to hear what you guys what thoughts are on it. And we're going to get into our ratings portion of it, but I thought we'd do a little wax lyrical about the Egyptian king right now, because I think it is certainly something to say for a player that I don't want to say he's carrying us, because I think that despite that he has some 70% of our offense, I get that in those parts and points, you know, there are components of our team that have allowed for him to have these opportunities, to have these great approaches to the game, whether it's, you know, the passing of some players to get him into the positions, or maybe it's the players that make the runs that open up the channels and create the opportunities for him to score, or even if it's the cases of whether he's on 16 goals, I think, and 11 assists so far in this campaign. A record that I'd like to see him accomplish, in the sense of getting to that 2020 mark. Salah's consistency and impact on the pitch are unmatched, I think. His record of 142 games to hit the milestone is a testament, I believe, to the extraordinary quality and I think the determination that we see from this player. And is an absolutely amazing accomplishment that he's done. He's currently on, I believe, 35. I think, I'm trying to think of what make sure I get this right. He's on 19 goals, 15 assists in all competitions. He's 5 away from equaling his contribution. 5 away, halfway through the year. He's 5 away from equaling his contribution of all of last season. Just let that ferment in your brain there for a little bit, let that simmer for a second. 5 goal contributions away from his total output last year. And we're just getting past Christmas. We're not even at the New Year. Who knows? He can maybe even get it before the New Year. That's wild. That's wild. But join me in this conversation, guys. What was it? This Salah, how you feel about the Egyptian king? How about the accomplishment that he's done yesterday? And I mean, this guy's setting records every day practically, and a new record broken or a new milestone hit. Nothing new, almost, you know.
JK, I was just waiting. I thought you were on a bit of a, you know.
Oh yeah. I did write some stuff down actually, but you can go ahead. I know I've been just kind of going a little bit long with my football romanticism. So.
Well, yeah, with Mo, there's no real kind of question about it now. Like, oh, greatest ever, all that's for other people, but yeah, he's in that 3 or the 4 or the 5 or whatever, you know, best forwards, best wingers, best attackers, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the most impressive thing, you know, like with the 71, the goal contribution. It is to me, that's, as I said before, if we win the league and he does that for the rest of the season, it won't matter. It won't matter. Now, as long as he stays fit, he's on track to do that. It's Mo. He's not going to turn into a different player over it. He's going to keep putting up similar numbers for the rest of the season. We know he is. But it's not healthy. It's probably not sustainable to have one guy basically contributing to 71% of your goals. I'd like him to be doing the numbers he is doing and then just spread that a little bit to give you a bit more breathing room. But that's nitpicking. You know, I know some people say, oh, but Messi contributed X amount of goals to Barca. Yeah, these are extraordinary seasons. These are one-off seasons. As you've already pointed out, like we were talking about last night, if a £60 million winger joined a Tottenham or a Spurs or Manchester United, 60, 70 million pound winger, attacking midfielder, and they finished the season with the numbers that Mo has right now, you'd be like, worth every penny. They'd be like, that's a brilliant season. For a top player in the Premier League, just to have what Mo was on now, it's not even 2025. Those are top quality numbers. So to do it all before we even get to January is absolutely crazy. You know, I said at the start of the season, I got the impression that he was looking at this going, even if this is my last season, I'm not going to go out with a sulky face and, you know, phoning it in. I'm going to go out there and put in my best season if I can. I'm going to go out there and try and, you know, break all these records. I'm going to try and get as close to X, Y, and Z numbers if it is going to be my last year. I think he's gone out there probably more motivated, perhaps in different ways, but than his first season. But I think it's probably the most motivated he's ever been. And he's absolutely relentless this year. So, yeah, a true phenomenon. I think a genuine phenomenon, especially someone who isn't or wasn't considered a goal scorer when he came. He was a winger, a guy who could score a goal. Yeah, but he's not the guy that's going to get you the goals kind of thing. That would be the strike, whatever striker Liverpool will buy will be, and this Mo guy will play on the wing. But hell, we were wrong there, you know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, to put up the numbers for someone who isn't an orthodox really anything, he's not an out-and-out winger. He's clearly not a number 9. Mm-hmm. So he is, and I think Henry was even a little bit more of a kind of a inside player than Mo is. Mo was a little bit more of an outside player than Henry was. So. Yeah, man, like I say, lucky to have him, lucky to be witnessing it, lucky to see every single week. And you do become a little what's the word?
Numb to it, or
no, numb is right. Yeah, I think imbued to it, that's going on anyway. But yeah, numb basically to what's going on. Yeah, you just kind of expect it and you don't realize. Like I said, if we bought a guy this season for 70 million quid, and he finished it on 16 goals and 11 assists, we'd be like, wow, what a player we got. And this is half a season numbers. The guy is ridiculous, and that's not to even mention his fitness record, which is also ridiculous. So yeah, absolutely, man. Very lucky.
So he's doing all his talking on the pitch, isn't he?
Yeah. Always has, Lee. He always has, man. Never been a problem off the pitch. He's never been a headline maker, never been a headline grabber. Any stories, he just goes out there, he does his thing, gets fit, gets ripped every year, shows off his six-pack, and then comes back and does it again.
He's a good role model for the younger lads, isn't he? For the younger players, he's an excellent role model for them.
Oh, yeah.
Himself.
Yeah.
I think we might see Naoni, mightn't we, against Accrington? I would imagine we'll see Naoni again, and I'll be glad to, because he done well in his game. Southampton won it when we played him. So we'd be able to play against Accrington, surely. A few other players might get more. They'll get a chance, won't he? I think against Accrington. I would imagine, and obviously Endo will probably come in, won't he? But it'd be nice to see Naoni again. Capitalise on the good performance he had last time out.
Yeah,
no doubt. Yeah,
I see Endo, comment there.
Definitely.
The Athletics' James Pierce reports that Tyler Morton won't leave on loan in January unless a midfielder is added. That stance, £20 million asking price, is likely to remain unchanged. I don't know if they're going to get $20 million for Tyler.
I didn't know that was an option. So hang on, he won't leave on loan, and unless a mid is added, that stands $20 million asking price. I like it. So they're saying they won't loan him, but they'd sell him for 20, is what you're saying.
Right. If you come with £20 million pounds, yeah, you can purchase. You can obviously get the transfer, but other than that, they're not looking to loan them. That's what it sounds like to me. And then the other comment about David Lynch says similar of Wataru Endo, reporting that the Reds will not move the Japanese national in the midseason, but could consider his position again at the end of the season. I think that's why when you hear the K-Max and the others out there talking about Endo's going to Inter Milan or he's leaving the club for this or for that in January, I'm just like, I get that he's not necessarily the first option off the bench for Slot. He's not a option that he doesn't leave off the bench, which is a notable thing in itself, because he could just say, hey, Endo, I'm going to bring up I'm having Naoni on the bench rather than you for this week or something along those lines, right? He's been pretty consistently on the bench almost every game that we've had this season. Whether he gets into the games or not, that's a different story. But,
I used to go to a place at the Albert Dock called the Blue Bar, but that was ages ago. I don't know if they've renamed it or anything, but it was it was quite nice. It was a nice place. They probably just renamed it, but it was called the Blue Bar at the Albert Dock, and it was nice. Seen a few like footballers in there. It's that one of them type of places where you may see people off TV type of place. But it is a nice place.
All right.
Well,
I'll make sure Endo. I'll make sure Endo, or at least I'll try to make sure Endo gets that message.
Well, Ant is just in the chat. He's out.
Oh yeah, I saw that. You can bring up Ant's question again. What was it?
Yeah, anybody.
Oh, that was Ant's question. Got you. You're answering.
Oh yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, anybody local. He's out on the town in Liverpool tonight. So if you have any recommendations, anyone from the locality that's in the chat, let Ant know where to go tonight.
Okay.
I'm sure he'll find somewhere decent anyway, but yeah, the Blue Oyster Lee, is that the one you mean? Yeah.
I've seen Francis Jeffers in there when I was having went to the toilet, didn't I, to do what you do when you go to the toilet, and there was Francis Jeffers. They'd see him before he moved to Arsenal.
I thought he's going to be working there, no? Oh, okay, he was actually,
Yeah, I went there with this lad, and he went, don't talk to any of the famous people if you see anyone famous. And as soon as I'd had a few drinks and seen people off telly, I went, oh, hello.
Yeah.
Shut up, man. I want to speak to somebody. Well, I can't speak to them because they're on telly. Behave.
Franny Jeffers. The
Yeah,
fox in the box.
One from
The
Brookside, one of the girls from Brookside, like that I seen, and I had a conversation with her. She used to go out with some lad who was in my school, so I used that as a conversation thing.
Okay. Trying to get this thing to move. It won't move for me. Mark was saying he took his daughter to the cavern, and she loved the live music and atmosphere, so that might be something. Oh, Bernie just gave you a shout for a place. Revolution de Koopa, Liverpool. That's cool. Live music was insane. Great stuff. Nice drinks, lovely service. Cool. Do they have food there too? It sounded like some of those places tend to have food as well.
Used to play Jackie Dixon. I think her name was Alexandra Fletcher. Alex Fletcher, I think is her name. To answer Red Armchair. He's asking if it was Jennifer Ellison I seen in this Albert Dock bar. It wasn't.
Okay. There's some suggestions out there, Ant.
No, it's nice, the Albert Dock. It's a real nice place. Like, they done it up
No,
really. It used to be like, all run down, but then they done it up really nice and started having Richard and Judy there. Judy
I'm just saying, that's the one difference, Ant, is that like you're in Liverpool, you're in town, and
I always go to Matthew Street. When I go drinking in Liverpool city centre, I generally go to Matthew Street.
Mm-hmm.
Not always.
That's what Bernie just said too, as well. She said go to Matthew Street.
Yeah, plenty there, Matthew Street, like plenty there.
Yeah, across from Albert Docks. I know. I'm hoping, Red Armchair Supporter. I'm hoping we can get to that stage where we could do something where we can, take the show on the road, kind of do some vlogs, do some different things out there as well with the channel. Also, get to meet some of you in person would be fantastic. Maybe share some stories. Maybe give a cheers on a pint or two or something. Be very, very cool. Yeah, that's what we have for sure in the hopefully near future. I'm hoping that we get that in the near future. But we are going to, I don't know if Ant is going to tune out on this section, but we are going to get into a little bit of a review of the game. What about this game was your happy moment in this game? What was your feel good moment of this game? JK, what was your feel good moment for this entanglement that we had with Leicester at Anfield, as they possibly had some people sweating? I don't think I was. I did believe that we were going to make it happen, but
my moment was Robbo's header. I liked Robbo's header onto the post.
Okay. How about for JK's on mute? So, Brian, how about for you?
Yeah, the guy who didn't see the game.
Oh, I thought you saw. I thought you maybe watched on replay by now. Okay.
No, I didn't even get a chance to stop today. I was out and about all day. That Mo goal. Yeah, okay. The Mo goal was a bit special. Even though it was a very kind of typical Mo cuts in off the right onto his left, but there was something just a little bit extra special about that one.
Mm-hmm.
The way he gave the lad the eyes and all that, it was just a really nice one. So yeah, of all the bits I saw, I'll go with that.
Okay. Big up Red Rebellion TV. Salah's goal was insane precision. Realism Jared says, what a goal that was from Hakpo. I agree with that too. Bernie saying Cody's goal as well. Those were I agree that header from that header had a little bit of promise on it. From from Robbo. You're right about that, Lee. He had a couple, and Robbo had a good I think it was I want to say a good through ball, if not a cross as well in that game that almost led to a goal as well. Yeah, I guess like I'm trying to think of what my field goal moment was. I probably would have said the Cody goal, to tell you the truth.
Oh, well, I got a good one. I got a real one. Yeah, I've changed mine. I got one I can actually say for real now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you go ahead. You go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think possibly the Cody goal. I didn't get to see the I saw the goal celebration after, but you can really see what it means to Cody is an absolute professional, and you can really see how much it means to this guy. Agent Cody is always on duty, and again, it's just one of those cases where, you know, I'm appreciative that he is a Red. That
excellent night for Cody,
he could have been a Red Devil. He could have been a couple other teams were going for him, you know. But it was the likes of your VVD, the likes of your Pep Linders. I know that's not a popular name, but like that, you know, convinced him to choose Liverpool as his destination, and I'm happy that he did. I think that those that were even pining for him to possibly.
Oh, who rang him? Who rang him? Somebody rang him, didn't they? Or is that another player? Am I thinking of? And said, "Don't go to United, you lunatic. Go to Liverpool." Who was it? A Dutch player, or am I mixing that up with somebody else?
No, that rings a bell. Right?
Was it Koeman or
in his shell light? And
yeah.
Don't be doing that, mate. Don't be going there.
Yeah, like they found out like that Liverpool wanted him and Man United wanted him, and he wasn't. He was trying to make a decision or what. Not that was the. But I remember definitely a story came out about someone like to say Koeman or whatever rang him and said, don't go to Manchester United. Don't even think about it. Go to Liverpool. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I mean, there's definitely a lot of players who've had phone calls from people saying, "Don't go to Manchester United." Not just Cody Gakpo, I'm sure. You know, like, yeah, I'm sure there's a few people say, "Yeah, I don't look. I heard they're offering you $200,000 a week. Just go wherever else," you know. But I'm definitely sure there was someone that was. And they came out openly. They weren't like shy about saying, "Oh yeah, I rang him. I told him don't go there." That's why I think it was a Dutch guy because he just
very direct.
I'll tell you. Let me make sure I get the quote for you correct. The article I see here is Cody Gakpo reveals he rejected Manchester United after speaking to Erik ten Hag.
Erik ten Hag, yeah, there you go.
So 7 Hag strikes again.
There you go. Got in the room and effed it right up.
Yeah. Yeah. Says,
you're getting loads of suggestions now, Ant. Baltic quarter. Was that something else?
Yeah, it says he said when he was he says he's at he says I think it was the summer before he joined. He says he joined Liverpool that he was in contact with Manchester United. He said he spoke to the manager Ten Hag from them as well. Obviously he's Dutch, so yeah, he spoke to him as well. But at the end, it didn't go through, and that's just it. In the winter, Liverpool came. Best decision for me. Period. That's funny. That is pretty funny. So, yeah.
I would have definitely regretted that, wouldn't he, if he'd have moved there?
We would have regretted it, I think, because he would have. I think he would have. He's a good player. So I mean, we would have regretted it. It would have been a case where, you know, I don't know. I
never know what would happen to him if he
you never know what will happen exactly. But I mean, it would have been a weird situation for him.
Marcus Rashford.
Exactly. He would have probably been on the bench trying to, like, you know, take Marcus's spot on the pitch. I think he's a better player than Rashford, but I mean, all the same, you know, Rashford is pretty much a go-to at that time for the Red Devils. But they have a lot of internal issues. Red Devils are in a sad spot. Some people go, I can't like it. You know, people ask and question if you're enjoying this period of bad, you know, bad incidences and like and situations for Red Devils, or the situation that they're in right now. I can only hope for worse, to tell you the truth. So, because there's very few clubs out there that really make you just say, "No, I don't have any sympathy for you." None whatsoever. Yes, the rat infestation. Definitely. But I mean, that's what I mean when you transfer and you make him your captain. What do you expect? But I'm bumped. So let's move on. I'll be here all week. So yeah. What are we about to do here? We are about to get into this ratings. Let's bring in some ratings, actually. You guys mind doing some ratings? We try to rifle through some of these ratings at least.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Bring up the placement of it. And here we go, people. All right, let's start it off. With Allie. What are you rating Allie? Let's go with Lee, Brian, and then JK. And I will adjust the score will pop up. It'll be my score, but like I'll adjust.
I didn't see the whole game myself. It sounds like Brian didn't either. I'll still give scores, like, but I didn't see the whole performance, just the highlights of it. That was all I was able to see. But I give Alisson.
Oh, okay. I think only me and JK were the only ones to watch the game, I guess.
Give Alisson 77.
Okay, 77. I saw Jimmy said a 75 on it. He really didn't have much to deal with, to be honest with you, in this game at all. So it's really not much you could grade him on. I know because I believe they had all of 4 shots in the first half. I want to say let me double check for you. I think they have 4 shots. Yeah, they have 4 shots in the first half, and then basically 4 shots all game, because those are the only 4 shots that they had. And of those shots, obviously one of them was a goal. I think. Don't know how many. Let me check on how many were actually. I don't even know how many shots they had on net, to tell you the truth. They had 1 shot on target, 1 blocked, 2 shots off target. So they have 1 shot on target, and that was the goal.
Got a deflection as well, didn't it? A little touch off Virgil.
It might have got a little bit of a piece of Virgil. I didn't see that up close. I know that Robbo got a lot of the anger because of he got turned a little bit by Ayo. and Virgil tried to assist in helping, but he didn't. Unfortunately, he didn't take off the right portion of. He just missed in getting completely in front of the shot to properly block it, and then he somewhat blocked out Ali and couldn't get to it. Hyler's giving him a 70, Bernie a 70, like I said earlier, Jimmy a 60 or 75. Whoops, I had Ali at a 65, but
yeah, about that 70, about 70.
Yeah, I'll put Ali at a 70. I'll correct the scores afterwards. How about for Virgil then? We just spoke about Virgil. You know what's interesting too? Virgil in that game against Spurs, like people are bemoaning his performance and bemoaning a little bit about like that he wasn't Virgil-esque. I mean, like he had a very, like statistically speaking, he had a very excellent game against Spurs. In this game, he had another solid game, a relatively good Virgil game. 3 clearances, 2 interceptions, 3 tackles. Was 95% with his passing, 103. He had 108 passes in this game. That's a lot of passes. 108 passes, 118 touches. 3 out of 3 for his ground duels, 4 out of 6 for his aerial duels. Lost the ball 5 times, but other than that, like decent game. What would you say for Virgil, JK?
I just realized with Virgil recently, a little bit sluggish. Maybe that's tight with him being tired and stuff. Because for me, he's probably been one of our best players all season.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think in the last few games, sort of sluggish a little bit. He's still for me the greatest centre back in the world. But for me, he can also have games where he's not at his best. It might happen. But for me, even his worst is probably someone's best. So yeah, Virgil, he's a captain. This is what needs to get done, But I'll give him about 65.
65 or 55?
65.
Okay.
You want me to give you 55?
No, I don't. I just want to make sure I heard you right. Yeah. You never know. I know that sometimes the ratings can be a little harsh. So, he was the one that the deflection did go for the goal. I will highlight who was the player actually that allowed for the cross to even get to where it got, but I'll do that in a second. If Konate was playing, Leicester's goal would not have happened. Now we see what we missed without him. I don't know. I don't know about that one. Arsenal and Ipswich 0-0 so far, and Brighton Brentford is 0-0 at halftime. Okay.
Yeah, I if Konate was like, if Ebo started that game, he might have made a mistake and gotten sent off in the first 5 minutes. Like you can't say that's such and such a player was playing. That wouldn't have happened. He wasn't playing. You just can't say that wouldn't have happened. He could have been on but that just never works. So yeah, there's no point with that stuff. If such and such a player was playing, he wasn't playing. If that player was playing, he made a different mistake. It's so that's just pure. That's beyond hypothetical. It's just pointless kind of to say that stuff. We have the guy we have. We won it 3-1. I don't know. I can't rate the back four because I didn't see enough of it all. But yeah, it sounds like they had an okay game. So I'm sure Joey was decent. The lads are going to rate him. So
okay. Let's see. I'm just putting in a comment. Sorry about that. Let's see. I saw a bunch of I did see. I saw the streets have arrived, so I was making sure if that was Saint, if that's Saint Nick, or if that is, or if that's the Grinch.
No, that's Santa Crab. It's Santa Crab.
Santa Crab. That's better. That's the way to put it. Yeah, Santa Crab. I like that. Ramen Red Bull. Ooh.
Oh, careful now. Careful, Rasta.
That just gave me the chills. Okay. All right. Top of the league, definitely. Jolly, for sure.
White rum or dark rum? Or
it has to be. I would assume it's probably white rum, not like.
Or is there only like one that people from the islands actually drink? Is that like, I don't know. It's dark rum.
No, there's other. I know there are other rums.
No, dark rum.
Dark rum. Okay then. All right.
Oh. Is that like stronger, or is it like dark rum stronger? Like, what's the difference?
No, I don't know if it's stronger or not, but I know. I think actually, white rum might be stronger than dark rum. To be honest with you, because Bacardi and those things are like, they're pretty high alcohol proof, but I don't know. I'm not really much. I'm more of a whiskey drinker than a rum drinker. So. That's one of the good ones too, by the way, off the island.
Thank you for clarifying Barney's question, because I was wondering there for a moment.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Dark
pause.
Used to be strong.
You put a very strong pause behind that. All right, a strong pause.
Dark used to be stronger, apparently. Okay.
Yeah, I know that the way that came out goes down smooth. Pause. Yeah. All right. Yeah. You do that pause on all the comments, but yeah, that's a actual. I believe it's a mountain, or
I don't doubt it.
In I believe it's Jamaica. I want to say, but anyways, let's get it to this. Virgil van Dijk, I had him at a 71. I think that is probably about where I saw 73 from Hylor. I saw 77 from Jimmy, 78 from Bonkers, 75. So we'll make it like a 74. Let's make it for VVD. Question: why did slot keep put that price back up?
I started. If you want to keep doing the ratings.
Okay. We can deal for right now if you want.
Cool. 1-0 to Arsenal, by the way. Kai Havertz.
Question: why did Slot put on Dom knowing he's on a yellow from suspension, or one yellow from suspension? I asked the same questions. I asked the same question.
I think everybody has asked that question today. I didn't notice it, realize it, obviously, but yeah, I've heard that about 10 times today. What was he doing? What was he thinking? Kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do we have a consensus? Do we have a consensus? Has he
especially
come out and said?
Especially when you could. Macca isn't on the verge of. Macca wasn't on the verge of going out on suspension. He wasn't. He didn't. He'd already served his yellow card suspension. Would I have liked to see Macca get a rest? Absolutely. Harvey did get into the game, but one reason I'm bringing up Macca is because Harvey came in for Macca at the very end of the game. So he came in like the 92nd minute. So why Macca, or why Curtis? I will accept and admit that it's closer to a like for like exchange, especially at the 10, for Dom and Curtis, more so than Curtis for Elliot. I know a lot of people want to see Elliot in that 10 role. I don't have a problem with being in that 10 role, but I will openly admit that I don't think that you don't get the same output of defensive levels from Elliot that you would from a Dom then Curtis, and then Elliott, probably in that, if I was like tiering them in defensive counter press, defensive output, all those types of things. So
where else would you play him though? I don't see that he has any other role in our team, only then the number 10.
I agree. No,
like,
I agree.
I'm not saying he should start. I'm just saying if he ever does start, I don't want to see him on the right. We all know that. Finally, I think people like, I was there. Like, this guy's here so long. He was there 2 years, and he played. I think statistically, he played twice on the right wing for us, twice in about 2 years. And there would be people in chats all the time going, Klopp needs to realize Elliott isn't a right winger and stop playing him on the right. He never has. He literally never did it. He did it once when Salah was taken off or injured, and they're like, yeah, he's not a right winger. He never played him on the right. Never used him as a winger. Why? Because of the speed, and probably, that not lack of the want to do the defensive work. Just maybe not naturally able to do it in terms of pressing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you've got to put him in that 10 because you can't put him in the middle in the 8. You can't put him wide right. You can't put him left. He's not a false 9. So the only place he can play is in that area to me. So that's the only place I ever want to see him play. But I don't think he's our best one. No, I think he kind of never will be. Harvey will always be kind of that, the go-to guy in that position rather than the main man. And I think right now Dom does give you more, and he gives you what Harvey gives you. So, but I don't see any other position that I would want to see him play in our team.
Yeah. I possibly would have said I didn't want to see Lucho have to play yesterday. I didn't want to see Lucho even on the bench, to be honest with you, considering what was going on with his family. I thought maybe just allow for him to get that and, have the day off. We could have, brought up Nioni or something like that. And if yesterday came down to it, then rather than sub Dom in, I would have played Nioni. I would have possibly even played. I don't know if I would have played Chiesa in the role or not. But there's an argument to be made that maybe Chiesa could be a decent 10 for us as well, right?
At that late stage in the game, probably the wrong call, though. Probably not going to make that one. But yeah, Jones, Elliott, or just Elliott, basically. Just put Elliott in. Really, was the obvious way to go. Yeah. Has he? I'm sure he's been asked in a press conference because it's a pretty hot topic. I'm sure he's been asked, "Why did you do it?"
I don't think they brought that up. To be honest with you. I watched the press conference.
Okay.
I don't think that was a question. I don't remember that being a question as to why'd you bring on Dom knowing that he was a yellow card away from being suspended.
Ryan's still on one, isn't he? Until they're all taken away. So he could possibly miss the United match, Ryan, if he gets a booking.
At that point, he got subbed in. Dom got subbed in at the 70th minute, right? He's one of the two players the only two Diego and Dom both got subbed in at the 70th minute. I know we're gonna get to slots rating, but I mean, I think that I really, really didn't understand some of a slot's timing with some of his substitutions, and I also didn't agree completely with the substitutions that he utilized in the substitutions that he made. Heiler just provided us with players that were on. Well, McAllister already served his ban, so he was off. But I guess he means that we're going in. So not going into this matchup, but going into that have been on or close to. He just listed as Dom, Nunez, Gravenberg, and McAllister, and also Cody as being close to being suspended for 5. I believe it's 5 yellow cards, right? Accumulation of 5 yellow cards up to this mark.
Yeah, it's 5, yeah.
I do. I do like Trey. I like Trey. Trey is a very. I have high hopes for Trey Neone, Bernie. I definitely do.
No, he's a great player.
Yeah.
Great fucking player. I've seen him play a few games now. He's been the best player on the pitch.
Yeah.
For the unders. There's a reason why we paid the money. You know, he's not a little, local kid. We went out, we put down money for him, and we got him in the first team. So yeah, I think you don't get in an Arne Slot side like that for nothing. Considering especially he wouldn't have been in the plan to bring him in. They were already there when he arrived. So I think that's really good signs when you own it. Yeah, no, I see really good signs.
I didn't mean to apologize.
Yeah, no, there's really good signs all the way for him. He seems to really be, considered right on the verge. Not a young player. He's not for the under 23s. He is just about first team.
Oh, I know, Bernie. I know you're teasing. But he is special, and I think that I know that you think the same. I definitely know you think the same. I was going to bring up something. What if Dom missed the Leicester game, then got a yellow versus West Ham? Yeah, that would be worse. I agree with that too. I definitely agree with that. I think after, I thought it was after this game that it gets recycled, but I think it's after. Is it after? Let me double check when it gets reset. When it gets actually reset. Does anyone on the panel know when it gets reset?
No, not offhand.
Yeah, before the game, after the West Ham game.
Is it before or after?
After. What are you on about the yellow cards?
Yeah.
Because United will be. We've played United before already, so United will be the first game in the second half of the season.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it gets reset in the sense of even if you have 4, or it doesn't. After West Ham, you could get a 5th, but you're not getting suspended the next game. That's what happens. So.
Yeah, it's the halfway point in the season is when it goes back, isn't it? At the exact.
Well, Man United is the halfway point. That's the 19th game of 38. Man United.
Okay, yeah. So I just looked it up. It says after the 19th game of the season, if a player picks up 5 cards, they will not serve the 1 match ban. So it's the 19th after the 19th game.
United as well. That can't be picking. Well, if somebody picks one up against United.
So yeah, I think because United's our 19th game, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's the half.
So unfortunately, they've got even, and that game's going to be, I'm sure, chock full of fouls
and bookings in it, isn't it?
Yeah, bookings and the likes. So we'll have to get through. I'm sure if there's anything one way, possibly Red Devils, especially if we're beating them down. At Anfield, they will probably look to spoil or try to tempt or negotiate a way to get us into seeing some suspensions or something being done. I did not hear this comment too, by the way. Big up Max, by the way. Big up Max. Good to see you. See that. Appreciate the proper hello. The proper hello, not what some people do. That is definitely commendable. Red Rebellion says he heard Slot say in a press conference that Chiesa was a short-term signing. Not sure if it was. I didn't hear a short-term signing. I heard that was a long-term signing. Not sure if it was a slip, but it could be a masterstroke as well. Can sell him for more than what we bought him for. I don't know. I don't remember. I heard that Chiesa was more of they knew what they were getting, in the sense of that they were getting a player that did not have a preseason in him, was going to have to work his way back to fitness during the season, and he was a player that Slot says he's well aware that it is difficult for any player to get to the levels of fitness that is necessary for a season during a season. So he, and I think, what we've done or the brass behind the scenes, I think we're well aware that this was going to be more of a project signing of a player that we've always had. We went in, we actually reportedly had made an offer for him. I saw a little meme, and it was originally they wanted to get $100 million for him at the time. Obviously, we didn't follow through. But considering if they wanted $100 million, and Juventus eventually sold him for what, 13 million, I think it was, or something like that. I think we already knew that we were getting what we were getting into when we picked up Chiesa. I think he was coveted enough of a talent that we were willing to make to see where it goes with getting him back to fitness and health. Third, I think that it will be. I think we'll get our money back regardless if we were to move on from him. Do you guys think different, or am I alone in that?
Yeah. As long as he gets game time, so then we can get a fee for him if he wants to go. But if he's not playing all season, it's going to be hard to get rid of him, But to me, I think we haven't seen anything from this guy. So I'm ready to wait until see what he can do, because I think there's a player there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Could you also be as far as to say, we're going to get on with the ratings. I know we're going to try to rifle through all these ratings. But what I was going to say is, could you even say maybe that knowing our roster, we were looking at the roster, for example, that was given to us yesterday. The 11, love them or hate them, okay? The 11 that were on the pitch are all 11 players I don't necessarily see going anywhere in the January transfer window, and are 11 players that are viable selections to be starters, okay? I don't want to get into the whole number 9 thing, but you look at our bench, and on the bench you had Dom, Diego, Simicast, Endo, Elliott, Kelleher, Kwanzaa, Lucho, and Chiesa. Knowing that we have some promising youth academy players, like one of my favorites, like Bernie said, Leone. We have Tyler Morton, obviously, who we're trying to groom into a player that we can possibly either incorporate as a possible squad player or something along those lines, or at least a player that we can get some type of return from eventually selling. You have Ibu and you have Connor, both on the men, 2 players that once they're healthy certainly would be on that bench, be an active player on that bench. It's one of those cases where Chiesa does have the ability. We do have at least some freedom to be able to not be so pressing to have Chiesa in. It's not like we got Chiesa as, we need a right wing starter, and we have no options on our roster. Like as in the sheer fact that we have the greatness of Mo Salah, who plays a good majority of the minutes.
One more attacker than we had last season, isn't it? He's the 6th attacker that we didn't have last season.
Yeah, exactly. Where I'm going with it. Go ahead, Lee.
So yeah, it's just waiting for him to. We've heard what it is. He's going to take his time with him. He said that Slot. It's a bit delicate. Like he's got to get it right. There's no point bringing him in, is it? And then he breaks down. So he's got to take it really easy with him, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Psychedelic scientist comment is spot on too. I think as well.
Yeah, it's frustrating. We want to see him on the pitch, with all the other good players, playing with the other top players. But I'm prepared to wait. I can wait till the man's fit, properly fit.
Yeah, I would. That would be fantastic to see. But again, is the psychedelic scientist said the bench is looking strong. Shame Chiesa couldn't get any minutes. Then again, neither did Lucho. So it shows the quality options we have on the bench. It does. It really does. I would have liked for him to have selected other options off the bench for us to have the rotation that we needed for us yesterday. But the Dom thing was troubling, but it is what it is.
Yeah, the fitness people know what they're doing. That's their job, isn't it, to get them fit? So they obviously know what they're doing. We've just got to have more patience. Okay, we've been patient already, but just show a bit more patience with them.
Yeah, we are where we are without him, basically. So if he can come in, I don't expect him to have an impact in the Premier League, really, as long as Mo is fit. So if at some point between now and the end of the season, he can, it's probably a lack of preseason getting up to speed in England also. Between now and the end of the season, he can have an impact in the Cups or a few games or whatever it might be. But he's not really a priority for me, because it's not like someone that we've had in our team and we miss what they do. It's like we don't know what he can do for us yet.
Yeah. Spot on. Yeah. It's not like we've had this player and he's producing like crazy numbers for us, and now he's not with the club, or he's unable to perform for the club. It's one of those cases. He's definitely he's a project that I don't mind having. Mark is saying Chiesa pulled a ligament in his foot, and that takes a lot of treatment, as he had the same type of injury, and it took him 2 years to walk properly. So give him time. It's like walking on a 6-inch nail. Ooh, does not sound nice. I will also say that Chiesa was just getting off of being ill as well. He was sick. I remember that was offered in the press conference too. But I get it. People, we all have our versions of this PTSD with, knowing what you could say. Honestly, you could say this is a player very similar to a Thiago in that he's a fantastic player. He has incredible talents, but yet the injury history that he has makes you a little bit, wanting to see what he can do, but knowing that it's going to be a process. So it is what it is with that. And all right. I do have some other things too to bring up as well. I know I'll bring it up when we get to this player, by the way. I have I'll bring up some stories and the likes that have been reported as well. But I'm going to get on to Joey G and get a rating for him. Joey G, what was your rating for Joey G? Let's start with JK on this one. Again, JK, what's your rating for Joey G?
I tell you the truth, I think he played pretty well. I'm going to give him a 70. He played well, 70, yeah.
Okay. And also, let me say this, Hyler, I don't want another Thiago situation per se in Chiesa, in that, it's on again, off again, or, just like, if anything, let's just hope that we can get him settled and right, and we don't have to return to him being on the injury list. He is there. He is worth, as Red Arm just said, he's worth a punt for 12 million, 12, 13. I think it's 13, but 12, 13 million. So I think it'll pay off. It's worth it. 70 you have him at. Brian, do you have a rating for Joey, or do you want to put a rating in? I know you saw maybe highlights or whatever, but.
Go with Bernie. Bernie said 77. I'll go with Bernie.
All right. Nice, Bernie. I like it. I'll show you mine. Lee, what was your rating for Joey?
Give him 74.
74. Okay. We're going to stick at a 76 then. I think that's fair. Let's give a shout for Joey. Joey's been doing an admirable job at center back for us, by the way. I expected nothing less, by the way. I definitely should have expected nothing less. I certainly said that I would prefer to see him as a right back or a left back, to be honest with you. But I think that he does a very admirable job, and he has done a very admirable job at center back, which is apparently one of his preferred positions on the pitch. So if that's what he wants to play, then I'm happy to see that he's getting the opportunity to do so. 71, 78, 71 from Max, 78 from Red Armchair Supporter. Got you guys. Got you. I think 76 is fair for all the votes that have come in. How about for Robbo? Agreed. Jimmy, Bernie, spot on. No, he gave him an 85. Wow, Jimmy showed mad love. He definitely deserves our respect. Robbo.
People who watched it give their. I'm not going to say people who watched it give your scores.
Yeah. I will go to JK. I'll just do. I know Lee. I know you and Lee haven't. How about what I'll do is I'll go to JK, get his score, and then give my score. And then if you guys thought something different, you can chime in to say it should be higher or lower from there.
Okay.
But JK, what about you? What did you have? What'd you have on Robbo? Big up Dara, by the way. Big up.
All round game, I think he played okay. Say about a 70. I think he was okay,
Okay.
Did he sort of stop that goal? I think he could have defended that goal a little bit better.
Yeah.
I think I always said the problem with Robertson is he goes into situations full steam ahead. And for me, he didn't really sort of pace himself in that situation with Ayew. He gave him that opportunity to turn and shoot like that. So for me, Robertson made that mistake.
He overcompensated. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Got turned.
So actually, you know what? I'm going to give him a 65 for that. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't want to talk you out of your rating, but all right. Oh man. Get these comments in with their ratings. Dara gave him a 65. Robbo played well, attacking with Hackbo. I think that people undervalue the relationship that Robbo has with both of the wings. Actually, I think that that's very reminiscent of why both these wings have had pretty much an uptick in their output and performances. Not solely because of it, but it has been a portion of why they've been doing well. The relationship they have with Robbo on that left side. Agree with you on that, Max. Robbo got 70 from Jimmy, 71 from Hylor. He says Gomez wasn't. That's for Gomez. Red Rebellion TV gave Robbo a 75. Robbo did not do much wrong other than the mishap between him and Virgil. He gave him a 75. And Red Armchair Supporter gave him a 75 as well. Okay, I think we're safe. Despite JK's reevaluated score, let's think we're 75.
Really? Okay, 75. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to Trent Alexander-Arnold. The player that was catching shots yesterday or catching strays yesterday from an initial to KM person. Okay, she's talking about Robbo. Dara, I think 75 is way too high. Okay. I thought Robbo was involved offensively yesterday. I think I get that he was involved in that in the mishap for the goal early on, but I think that he after that mishap, he very much focused in, had that great opportunity that hit the post that Lee spoke on earlier. That was a really well taken header, by the way, considering it was a header that was taken from Remember how we were talking about shots that we don't see too often in the game?
Headers from really far out as much
Yeah.
as we were saying, weren't we?
And that was a header that was actually far out. It was far out, but it was also had pace on it.
Yeah.
It had pace on it. It wasn't something like
he was very unlucky, wasn't he? Deserved the goal.
Yeah. And on top of that, he had a nice through ball in as well that I spoke on that. I had to pull up which one it was. I remember he had a nice pass in that almost resulted in a goal for us as well. But don't worry, Star. I got your number noted. We got your number noted. An 80 for Trent. Okay. All right. That's from Dara. 78 from Bernie. I did highlight that too, Hyler. You gave Robbo a 70. I got you on that one. Max says, I'm going to say what nobody is going to say. He was most at fault for the goal. Lethargically ran back after losing the ball, but attacking was very good, so he gave him a 73. That's Max's opinion. Okay. Trent, 65. His attempt to get back for the goal wasn't good enough. Okay. A lot of people are very critical of that. He was walking at the edge of the box when it was being scored. That's not good. That's not good at all. Trent gets a 72 from Jimmy. Okay, and Mark's comments just about the January window. I could star your statement, Mark, for later. For Trent, I'm going to show you my rating. I had him at an 83. What did you have him at, JK? Because he got a couple of 65s. You got a 65, got a 73, 78.
Yeah. Like the goal came from his side, the cross, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, fullback's jobs is don't let the guy cross the ball in.
It wasn't
like a number one rule.
I will say this. I don't think it was Trent that was the one.
Oh, it was Gravenberch. Actually, it was Gravenberch. Yeah. It's true what you just said.
That up when Gravenberch's score gets up there, but
Trent's on the TV now, doing that cross for Diaz against Tottenham. I just see. So for me, I'm going to give Trent 99.
Yeah.
I'm really joking. Okay. No, I'm going to give Trent a 70, bro.
Okay, I'm gonna bring Trent's score down to a 76. I'll bring it down to a 76. For the walking, he'll get deducted 3 points, and for the fact that a goal got scored, I'll give him -2 on that, or excuse me, -4 for that from my score. So I will change these scores. Don't worry, no, even though the score's on there as 83, I will change them. I just have to go into the actual. Into my actual app to change it. Big up, Kevin. Big up. Hope everything is well for you. Definitely. Happy holidays. All right. Let's see. How about for Gravenberch? That's the next player we're talking about. He was again, Gravenberch. I don't think this is possibly. It wasn't a poor game for him in the sense of that he was bad, but I would say that it wasn't one of the normal. It wasn't at the bar for Gravenberch. Some might say that I heard some people saying maybe he looked a little leggy, that he didn't look like he had some of the same bursts of speed that we're used to seeing for Gravenberch. Again, it's one of those cases where I'm not certain, but he was the player that allowed for the cross to get into the box for the goal. Unfortunately, it was him. Covering for Trent on the right side of the pitch. So, you would have liked to have seen him have better closure on the ball. But what would you have given Grav, JK? And again, Lee, Brian, if you think that our scores are too low or you want to chime in, definitely. I know that you didn't see all of the game, or maybe just saw highlights of the game. So I'll put the scores in and just chime in whenever we're done. But JK, what would you say for Grav?
I think he looked a bit sort of tired yesterday. I don't know. It wasn't really on it like his normal self. Hence why I thought he should have got the yellow card in the last game. Get him out of yesterday's game. I don't think we really needed him yesterday. Like for me, when he plays, I'm happy because he's a good player now. But for me, yesterday, just looked a little bit sluggish.
Yeah,
so I'm going to give him a 60, 65.
I wouldn't have. And again, that's probably why we're going to get the slot. But yeah, again, in a game against Leicester, I get that, Leicester do have a decent team, but I wouldn't have mind, especially with Gravenberch being on so close to a yellow. There were a couple of especially right before he got taken off, there were a couple of challenges that he was like that you could see he kind of half-heartedly went into. Like he looked like he's about to make a challenge, and then he like pulled back, especially the way that maybe also because of the way the referee was really calling the game. He was making really, really soft calls for yellow cards and the likes. And, that's the last thing Graf wanted to do was get another yellow and end up being taken out of the game for our upcoming match against West Ham. But yeah, I wasn't too overwhelmed by his performance yesterday. Just 2 out of 7 for his ground duels, 0 for 1 for his aerial duels, 2 interceptions, 2 tackles. Not necessarily one of his better games. And I would like to see him shoot the ball a little bit more, to be honest with you. It seems like that part of his game has kind of like been, sapped away, or put the clamp on. It's been taken away for him just being a box to box as opposed to having any scoring up into his game. But anyways, let's get it. 71 from Max, 70 from Jimmy, 69 from Hylor, 70 from Bernie. What was your rating for him? I gave him a 68. What did you give him? JK?
I gave him a 65, bro.
Okay. Let's stay with the 68 for him. I think that's fair, considering there was 70s and you're 65. How about for McAllister? Maka yesterday. Maka coming off a good game. A lot of these players coming off good games. Maka, one of them, though. I thought Maka had a solid game yesterday. Very involved with our transition play. Good with his defensive duties. 7 out of 13 for his ground duels. Was a game that was very difficult to really get a footing in, because the referee was all over the place with his calls. He was fouled twice yesterday, but fortunately he had 5 fouls but didn't receive a yellow card, so that's good. That's good to see. But he had 5 fouls in the game. It's a lot of fouls. JK, what was your rating on this? Because it's just you and me, JK, rating these pretty much. We're going to try to rifle through so that Brian and Lee get back to the conversation.
For me, yeah. McAllister is like, for me, the pace setter of the team. When he's playing, we play it to his speed, and he's always in control of the ball in the midfield. So I'm going to give him 85 for yesterday.
85, you said?
Yep.
Cool. I had him at an 82, but let's see. Jimmy had him at a 90, 85 from Red Armchair Supporter, 77 from Max, 83 from Bernie. I got you, Kev. All 90s. There you go. That's a Christmas gift for sure. I think 82 is fair. 77 seems like to be the outlier on it. I think 82 is fair. We'll stick with an 82. Maybe even a notch up. Maybe like an 80, 84, maybe. Considering that Jimmy with that 90. Making the 84. I'll put in the 84 for him. Curtis Jones. How about for Curtis? Curtis had a 76, despite not having the goal really helped Curtis's game. Other than the goal, I don't think Curtis had that great of a game, to be honest with you. But you know what? It's all about moments. You know,
if
you're not gonna be great, if you're not gonna be great, or you're not gonna be, you know, you're not gonna be at least really good in this game, then at least be really excellent or great in whatever moment you get provided to you. And Curtis did. He was in a great position to score that goal, and it was a really, really well taken goal. 75 from Jimmy, 84 from Max. Okay. How about for you, JK?
Yeah, for me, like, you got us the winner. That two made it 2-1.
Yeah, game winner for sure, definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a 75.
Okay. 75.
I'm just going to say to keep things normal, he held on to the ball too long.
There you go. There you go.
So I just say
there you go.
Yeah. Is there any score with Ipswich and Arsenal? Anyone?
Arsenal were 1-0 up.
Humbug.
Yes, that is a humbug. Yeah, he had 3 tackles, lost the ball 9 times, 3 out of 6 first ground duels. 1 shot was blocked, 1 shot obviously on target. That's the goal. Had 0 for 1 for his crosses, 1 key pass, 53 touches. I think he was good, not great. That's just all. I think he was good. He wasn't bad or poor, but I just don't think it was, other than the goal, which definitely bumped it up. Otherwise, I would have probably given him like a 70, 72 or something like that. But I think the goal is worth at least a 4-point bump. Max is the outlier for the Curtis scores at 84. So let's stay in at the 70s. I think 76 is good. 76 is good.
It's still 0-0 between Brighton and Brentford as well, by the way, in the second half. But it's half time. It's Arsenal 1-0, but that's half time at the moment. Well, no, I reckon they'll have just kicked off.
Mm-hmm.
But Brighton they scored from the corner.
Yeah.
Well, Havertz scored.
Yeah.
Maybe it was open play then.
Maybe. I think they just kicked off too in that Ipswich game for second half. But Darwin, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Go ahead, people. Let's just rip it off there. Get your Darwin takes.
Kevin saying it's a messy goal.
Yeah. Let's just get just scorers are appreciated. Don't have to necessarily put commentary in, but you're welcome to if you like. Hey, come on, look at that face. He's happy-go-lucky guy.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to give Darwin a 70 because I think his all-round gameplay was tight.
I'm right there with you on that.
And he should have scored maybe that header. Yeah, I think he just needs goals, don't he? Come on, man.
Yeah, I know.
That's his problem, bro. If he didn't score goals, it don't really matter what he does.
Struggle for him. But what's weird about it is this year has been a struggle for him to get like a consistent run. And not only consistent, I mean, like I get the consistent run that he got when he was serving as our in the duties of Diego while he was injured. But he wasn't getting he wasn't even with Diego out, he wasn't getting full 90s. But all the same, he didn't get one today. And I had him at a 70. Bernie had him at a 70. She just dropped him down to a 65. Okay. He just showed you the love sign, Bernie. Oh. I'm totally joking, Bernie. Jimmy had him at 72. Max had him at a 72. All right. I think 70 is fair. We're going to move quickly on before we get into anything with that guy. Let's get into the players that did and will most notably get some very high scores, I'm sure, and that is Agent Cody, reporting for service, reporting for duty. What was your I see man of the match shout for Max for Cody. Kevin gave him 100. Man. What are you giving Cody yesterday?
I'm gonna give him a 90 both.
Very involved.
Very involved.
I mean, night and day difference from the Spurs game, by the way. Night and day difference. Because I think out of all the players in that Spurs match, Cody kind of wasn't, wasn't shining bright. Like he wasn't that involved. But in this game, very, very active. Certainly so. Very active. 50 touches. He had 50 touches in this game. That's a lot of touches for him. I believe, for instance, in that let me see real quick. In the Spurs game, for instance, real quick, I'll just show you as a comparison. He had 36 touches in that Spurs game. So very much different in the sense of how he was involved. He was definitely feeling it. He was definitely getting trying to progress. He had a couple of some decent passes as well. 82 from Bernie, 92 from Jimmy. What did you give him? What did you give him, JK?
I gave him a 90, bro.
A 90? Okay.
Yeah, play real good, man. He played real good.
I gave him a 90 as well. 82, 90, 92. I think a 90 is safe. This 90 is safe. A safe score. Safe score.
What a scene of the highlights. Cody looked like probably our sharpest attacker last night.
I think so. I think that the attack was more suited towards the left side than it was the right side on our attack yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
How about for the Egyptian King? And we only have two players on the bench that we're going to rate, and they'll be very quick to rate because they got involved, but not really. They got in, but they didn't get really involved.
I'm going to give Salah an 85, bro.
85 for the Egyptian King?
Yeah, his goal was just great.
All right. He's looking at you like, are you not entertained right there? But I get you. All right.
I'll do 5 more.
Right. Mogus a 90 from Bernie. Okay. What are some other scores for you guys out there? I gave him an 88. Jimmy gave him an 85. Okay. He picked this moment. He picked this moment. Let me think of what else he had. I think he had another. He had one. He did have one shot that I thought he was going to score on, to be honest with you. But he had 5 shots yesterday. Obviously, 1 goal, 2 key passes, 2 out of 5 for his crosses, 57 touches. Quite often, it's very much it was like a balanced approach, in that, and that's coming from the fact that that we had Cody in form yesterday. So balanced approach, 56 touches to him, 50 touches to Cody. I like it. Very balanced approach. Yeah, 1 goal and 1 assist, and he only gets an 80. Okay, Eilor, interesting. 84 for Mo. Oh, that was 80 for Cody. My bad. 84. Okay, 88's solid. I want to give him. I want to say, I'll maybe, because I was just doing the wax lyrical for him, I'll bounce him up to a 90. All right, for the subs, real quick, do this real fast. Diego, what was your rating for Diego, JK? I had him at a 70. Okay. I think JK is a little indisposed, so I'll just go with the chat to help me out with this one. Diego, for you guys came in for Darwin in the 78th minute. Don't think he got obviously 12 minutes of play, but didn't have any shots. Was not successful on the one dribble attempt that he got. He only had 12 touches. I just don't think that he got a real opportunity to, despite being in there for at the 78th minute. I don't think he really got a opportunity to get into the flow of things. So Jimmy's giving him a 70. Yeah, he did get the ball 3 times after the 93rd minute. Okay. 55 from Max. Wow, that's very rough score for Diego. All right. 70. I gave him a 70. JK still not with us at the moment, so I'll just go with what you guys.
Yeah, I reckon I'll give him a 60, bro.
Okay, let's give him we'll split the difference. We'll go with a 65 for him. I think that's fair, actually. Bernie just gave him a 65 too. Yeah, we'll go with that. Last but not least, Dom. Dom got a yellow card. Unfortunately, won't be available for us for our game. But I will admit that when he did get into the game, he was out there giving the normal effort and normal amount of, attention towards detail with the press. What would you have rated Dom yesterday? Only had 16 touches, 12 out of 13 for his passing. Committed 2 fouls, one of them with a yellow card. 0 for 3 for his ground duels. I thought Dom was he was okay. Average. But that's just because he didn't really get much. He didn't really have much to do. So I had him at a 66. But let's see. 72 from Max. I think Hylor's a little behind in the broadcast because I see your scores, Hylor, but they're always like a player or 2 behind. Let's see. Mac gave him a 72. What are you giving him, JK, again for Dom?
I reckon he had that energy. He had the same energy he had in the Tottenham game. He looked like a different player yesterday again. So it's good to see that. Hence why I was a bit disappointed he didn't start the game. Weird one, but the energy he showed when he came on, it wasn't like that one he's had a few times when he's come on as a sub, lackluster and stuff, couldn't find his feet. So for me, I want to see that energy on like he's missing the West Ham game now. That's the thing. He would have been perfect in that game. He could have done a Tottenham on him again. Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed in that. And it wasn't even a yellow card. Did you see the foul? It was ridiculous.
That was a yellow card. Poor.
The guy fell over, man. The guy fell over.
He fell over. It was shoulder to shoulder. It was a poor yellow. Like as in the one thing the commentator said.
We're on the highlight, so I haven't seen it. So it was a dodgy yellow, was it? A little bit.
Yeah. Very dodgy. Like very, very dodgy.
Well.
Bonkers with the 50, 65 from Hylor. Bernie had a 68, 72 from Jimmy. Let's keep him at a 66. That's good. That's good for right now. All right, we're going to shuffle through these real quick because Harvey got in, but I'm giving him a not applicable for being he only got in at the 92nd minute. So that's at the end of the game. Simicast, I'm giving him an NA because he got in at the 86th minute. I'm giving Endo an NA as well because he got in at the 87th minute. Whoops. And now with Arnie Slot. Arnie Slot. La 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 la. What are we doing? Considering we all said our issues, our issues that we had with some of selections, we've all had our issues with some of the selections from the starting lineup. maybe some issues with the rotation, or I should say the substitutions of the start with the starting lineup with a very, very strong bench. We did obviously get the win, so that obviously means that he did get something right. And we got it with the starting lineup that he originally put out there. We got the winning goal with the starting lineup that he put out there initially. But all the same, he waited a little late. 78th minute, pretty late in the game that, could have probably deserved to have substitutes in earlier. Obviously, he knows the minutes that they're allowed to play. I would have preferred. Knowing that Grab was a yellow card away from it, from getting another or a 5 yellow card, one game suspension. I would have preferred to see Endo start this game, to be honest with you. And I thought it would have been fine. I think Endo would have been sufficient to be able to do the duties of what we needed him to do. And if anything, we might have been able to see Maka, travel forward a little bit more offensively, along with Grab, in the case that Endo could probably shade back and play the defensive end a little bit more. What do you think? What do you think about Slot? What do you have him at JK? And Lee, this is something you could rate, despite not seeing the game. You could still rate him on this.
I think Slot, he got it right. I think he could have made like Gravenberch. I don't know. He could have made He could have took Gravenberch off a little bit earlier than that. But for me, Slot didn't. He got the win. I'm gonna give him an 80 for yesterday's game.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Gave him an 80. Okay.
Let's go 85. 85. It's Christmas.
That's funny. Okay. How about, do you guys want to give a rating on Slot? Were you happy with the selections that he made, knowing the result?
Yeah, I'm happy with what he did. He seems to get everything right to take us into the West Ham game. Yeah, no complaints from what I saw of it. Looked good to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought he was good. Did what you need to do. Really, I know probably a couple of missteps there with the Dom one. That might be an embargo quote. I'd be very surprised if somebody didn't say to him, as in the stuff that will come out after 10 o'clock tonight, the stuff that isn't in the presser. So somebody will have to have asked him. You'll frame it like, so Dominic Szoboszlai is out now for the West Ham game. Do you think it was a mistake to bring him on, or do you? He must have been asked that question. So that appears to be really his only misstep. People are kind of, didn't really hear anyone expand on it. People were talking about the subs, maybe too late, too early, or whatever it was. But look, we got the job done. Yeah, we took a bit of a casualty along the way with Dom. That's going to happen. It's not ideal, but
did
West
we only
Ham doesn't
make
worry
two
me.
subs? Did we only make them 2 subs? Joachim and Szoboszlai?
No, Endo came on.
Oh,
Endo came on.
Who
I know
for?
that much.
Who's it? Endo?
I don't know.
Endo came on for Gravenberch.
Okay, what time was it? What time was that?
87th minute.
Yeah, it didn't feature in the highlights, like it didn't show you, but yeah. Well, that's good news. Yeah.
I just thought that I would have made the substitutions earlier. We have a strong bench. We had a very strong bench. A lot of selections to be made off of the bench. Some players that you would like to see get minutes, albeit at the time that we were talking about it, it is a 2-1. It is a 2-1 lead that we're holding on to, I guess. But I don't think that in that second half, I don't think that they were any bit of really a threat, really, you know. If anything, I thought that they really kind of were just hoping to get a call, maybe get, a man sent off. You were talking about the diving. You're talking about the diving PK.
Quickly,
with,
if I could,
that.
What minute was the Mo goal? Quickly, if I could, what minute was Mo's goal?
Mo's goal was in the 82nd minute.
Right. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Mo's goal was in the 82nd minute and was already. So after he made that, after Mo's goal came, that's when he made that's when he went heavy with this rotation, or heavy with bringing in Harvey. He brought in Simicast, then Ando came in, and then Elliott came in very, very late in the run at 92nd minute.
Yeah, you see, I was going to say his trigger is 2-0. He's a 2-0 manager. That's what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
So 2-0 or 3-1, right? So a 2-0 lead. He's not changing with a 1-0 lead. Now, obviously, if you're 3-0 down, but if the game is going his way, he will make changes and lock it down at 2-0. He wants a 2-goal lead. This isn't me. This is one of his previous players and coaches were saying this about him. It's like, he's in his mind, when you get to 2-0, that's where you lock everything down. You don't go for 4 or 5. So I can imagine him basically being the kind of guy where if it is a 1-0 game or it's a 1-goal game, him waiting, that makes sense to me now, the way that I hear it as people, because I was wondering what the issue was with the subs, but I think he's got his first team on. Guardiola does this a lot. Guardiola will not make a sub until the 80th minute if it's a 1-0 game. Oftentimes Guardiola makes very few subs, but I think Salah has the same kind of trigger in him. If we're only up by 1, I don't think he's going, even regardless of the time. So that to me seems to be his kind of trigger moment, where as soon as we've got a 2-0 lead, we can bring on or whatever. But that's just something I've been thinking out loud as I've been saying it kind of. But yeah, he doesn't like to change if that game isn't locked down. He prefers to stay with the 11 that he put out by the looks of it until he gets it locked down. Rather than making changes to change a game, he relies on the 11 that's there. I don't know. Could be completely wrong,
Yeah, Diego and Dom both came in before that, about 4 minutes before that third goal from Mohamed Salah.
Yeah,
they came
getting late in the game. Yeah.
So
I know it doesn't fit. I know it doesn't go completely. It doesn't fit.
I wasn't bringing it up to try to.
Yeah. No.
No. I wasn't bringing that up to contrast your point. I was saying, for me, I just thought that maybe it's because I've gotten used to seeing subs be put in at that 60th minute. That Klopp was very, very.
Set your watch by Klopp. Yeah. You don't need to know what time it is. The subs are coming on. It must be 60 minutes.
Yeah, like 60,
like
60 in that 60th minute. That's when you look to the sideline to see who's about to go to the board and get subbed in.
Because even like you're saying, those first two, Dom and who were you saying the first two that came on? Dom and
Diego. Yeah,
that's like 78 minutes. Then is what you're saying.
Yeah,
they came on.
That was deep.
That's
into,
really late. Yeah. That's late in the game as well. Yeah.
And two players that possibly aren't a given to start for the upcoming game, for West Ham. There's no, I don't think Darwin's going to start, considering he played a good chunk of his minutes today. I don't think Curtis is going to start, I didn't think Curtis was going to start, considering he played a good chunk of these minutes. Now he might have to start, considering that Dom got the yellow card and isn't going to be available. So it was a case where I was like, yeah, I just was a little bit, I wasn't necessarily over the moon with the selections and the timing. But the regardless part and point is we got the win. We ended up holding on to the win. The fact that, statistically, we absolutely were bosses in the second half, comparatively speaking to Leicester, in that we gave them no shots, no big chances, no shots taken by them, no big chances given up to them. They had to deal with 6 corners from us in the second half. A high volume of corners, by the way, in this game, 14 corners in total, and we more than doubled their. Again, we're not actually more than double. We practically doubled their passing, and I think the only thing that kept them in this game was the fact that they were trying to get this referee to give them a freebie, in that they got 12 free kicks in the second half.
Leicester are a better side than some people give them credit for. I think that's a reasonable squad, Leicester's. They should avoid relegation fairly easily, in my opinion. Well, not easily, but they will avoid relegation, is what I think. I think they're a better side than some people give them credit for. They've got some good players still.
I get you. I was just saying that, like, honestly, I don't think we had 12. I don't think we had 17 fouls in this game opposed to their 5. You gotta really contemplate that. There's no way that we had 17 fouls. We committed 17 fouls in Leicester, who are playing a low block, at times, that are, trying to do their version of dark arts, in my opinion, with the time wasting, by the goalkeeper in the first half and the likes. I don't think that it was so overwhelming. Like, you look at that overwhelmingly, that we were the more aggressive and fouling aggressive team. I don't think that was the case. I think they sold their fouls a lot better to this referee, basically. But anyways, let's get to this rating so we can get to our man of the match. I did not give him an 88, by the way. That's from Spurs matchup. So I am going to say, I would have given him an 80, to be honest with you. But all right, I'll stick with I'm not sticking with an 88, but we'll stick with like an 85 or something. I'll put it as 85. All right, let's get to this man of the match. Who's your man of the match for this game? Who was your man of the match?
I'll give it to Cody.
Okay.
Same as, yep, for me as well.
Cody. Okay.
Salah close second.
I mean, you could. I mean, I know that Salah could be a shout. Man who scored his 100th goal at Anfield. Oops.
See what they're saying. Nobody in the chat. Let's see what everyone's saying.
Let's see what people are saying in the chat.
Salah always gets man of the match. Let's see where the gap goes.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. This one, Cody.
Yeah.
That's 3 for Cody so far.
Okay. I think I have an idea as to who it's going to be for.
You could call him agent. Oh, well, no, it would be a bit. Yeah.
Well, I don't like. They say Big Gack. They call him or whatever.
No, I don't like that.
I don't really like that one.
Gackers makes me laugh from Curtis when Curtis says Gackers.
Depends on the accent. Definitely depends on the accent.
It definitely does.
Yeah. Certain people saying that you're going to sound like a dick, but
yeah,
you know the way, the way you call him Agent Cody,
and
you know the way he's Dutch. It'd be a bit much to call him Agent Orange, wouldn't it? I was thinking that's a bit much.
Yeah, that might not go.
That's not great, is it?
That's horrible
Yeah,
stuff. Anyway, that Asian Orange, you don't want that stuff on you, do you?
Yeah, that would not be
you want
good.
it anywhere. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
I especially like calling him because there was a movie called Agent Cody. Agent Cody Banks was the guy.
Run here, man.
It was like, I think it was like a 90s or 2000.
The dude from Malcolm in the Middle, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
He played
the young guy.
He was like a young James Bond.
Basically, that was it, wasn't it? Yeah, young James Bond. Yeah.
He was like a young James Bond. So, and it was like a kids movie. I get it, but like, it was lighthearted. It was funny. Like Brian said, the actor from Malcolm in the Middle, Malcolm from Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, exactly. Who would have thought that it would have been Cranston that would have the big career?
Yeah. Very true.
Everyone thought that the guy was going to Frankie Muniz.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that is his name.
Oh, yeah. Is he Doogie Howser? Was he Frankie Muniz?
No.
No, he's way
Doogie Howser.
Yeah, Doogie Howser's like 20 years earlier. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's something, isn't he? He's got like a 3 name. He's like Mark Johnson something or something. The guy who plays Doogie Howser, he's got like one of those three names like John something or whatever it is. I don't know. There's another Gakpo by a landslide, man. Absolute landslide by the looks of it.
That's his.
I haven't seen a single other vote for anyone. So
a lot of backers for Gackers.
Round the match. Yeah. Again, Agent Cody is the one I would like to see get a little bit of
I don't know if I could.
How about you could maybe say, aren't you glad we have Cody? You say that maybe.
You could.
Aren't you glad we have Cody on our team? I am. Aren't you glad Cody's a red? That's even better.
Aren't you glad he's a red is quite good, actually. Yeah.
But yes, Cody, Agent Cody. Got goal, got an assist in this match. Definitely was someone dialed in to make things happen yesterday, pulling us up by our bootstraps to get this victory and continue to march on for the pursuit of glory, and that is Premier League glory. And we currently hold, I know that they are up still in this game 1-0. But and I think that's what 30. This is an active line. So if they are to win this game, Arsenal would surmount Chelsea for second and move up to second place. If they win this game, they would have 36 points, making them be 6 points behind us. Be fantastic if we can continue to push on. In a way, but 6 points is still good, and we have a game in hand, obviously. So it could be 9. Let's just keep it moving, people. Let's just have
really good attitude, Gakpo. I mean, you expect. But it's not a given always with players like that they have good attitudes, because he's been in and out the side. But I like the way he carries himself. He seems like a really round and balanced guy, like Gakpo. And we did such lucky getting them, actually. We done well.
I wanted to give up this too. So I do have a couple before we bounce out of here and end this segment. I did have some things I was going to update you on. So let me make sure I can get this in front of me, my little notes here. Okay, so speaking on players, I know Salah was mentioned earlier. Let me say this. There has been a report that Mohamed Salah has agreed to a Liverpool contract, but there is a surprise in the details that have emerged from this report. it has been put out there according to how do you pronounce that? It's a Spanish. I believe it's Spanish. FICHA. Fajajes. Okay.
Yeah.
Those
guys.
Wonder what the surprise is. Think we sign him on a new contract and then loan him out.
Yeah.
To Everton.
Yeah, loan him to Everton, help them stay
Everton.
up.
Yeah. Help them stay up.
Yeah.
This is the report. The report is saying the Liverpool star will be tied to a new contract that will last until 2028, which means that the 32-year-old will be offered a new 3-year deal by the club. It was being reported out there that he was going to be offered a 2-year deal, and that was what we were trying. Apparently, was trying to stick to, was giving him another 2 years, but being he is 32 years old, and that would make him be 34 going on 35 when that would have ended. But now with a 3-year contract, that means that we will have Salah possibly until he turns 35, 36 maybe. So it's a good sign. It's a very good sign if they've actually offered the new 3-year deal. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, by the way. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be here for 3 years. It just means that if the Saudi Arabian clubs want to come and try to get his services, it means that they can't utilize that as they can't use it as a negotiation ploy to say, oh, we aren't going to.
I thought the idea that he was going to toddle off.
We're going to just wait for his turn to
anyway. At this point,
say again. I was speaking. Go ahead.
I said the idea that he was going to toddle off to Saudi Arabia was faintly ludicrous to me. At this point in his career, at 32, and with the physique he's got and the fitness record, I mean, why does he take a step down? Like in the quality of the game, he wants to be here, he wants to win things, doesn't he? He can do that. That move will be there for him forever. That move will be there for him when he's 40, if he still hasn't gone.
Well, and Lee, the other thing on that was that people could say, oh, the money, right? Now, of course, everything he earns now, other than his weekly wage, right? Non-football income, that would probably remain the same or whatever. And yes, he will get paid a lot more per week. But Mo Salah right now earns approximately £50 million a year, every year, when you combine wages, bonuses, which I know fluctuate, but mainly commercial money. So Mo Salah is basically banking £1 million a week every single week, regardless of his Liverpool wage. He makes more money than most people out there right now. So he doesn't need a lot of these players that might need to go, like someone like I know, like a Diaby, I don't know, whoever it might be, wouldn't have that commercial profile. They can go to Saudi, do 2 years there, put 20 million quid in the bank, and be kind of, look at it like that. Mo doesn't need to do that. Plus his motivation to win trophies and break records and win titles and, do real shit, rather than playing in front of 3,000 people a week in Saudi somewhere. I never saw. I'm with you, man. Every time I saw the links with him to Saudi, I was just like, no, not going to happen. Not going to happen. He's still playing like a 28-year-old in terms of what he thinks he can achieve. I just don't see a club for Mo. Obviously, if we decided not to offer him a contract, he would go somewhere. But I think we are still the perfect club for him right now.
I feel he's got unfinished business in the Champions League.
And England, I think England is a perfect league for him too. England is perfect league for him, I think. Yeah, he has. I think he wants 2 more trophies with us, minimum. He feels we're owed. We missed out on whatever way you want to call it. We should. Everyone say should have won more under Klopp. That team, yada yada. He still thinks. Yeah, without Ramos, without some bits and pieces, 33 millimeters of a goal line clearance. You know, he has 2 more trophies. But I think, I think that is the word for me, or the phrase for me. 100% Mo has unfinished business at Liverpool. And I think he's making the owners realize that right now. At least I hope he is.
It's looking good, isn't it? I'm not worried anymore. I was worried
I do have some other
6 weeks ago or something. It was like, oh, worried about, are we going to give him it? But now I'm not worried. I know it's going to happen. I'd be flabbergasted if it didn't happen. Absolutely flabbergasted.
Okay. I do have some other news to report as well, so I'll get to that as well. I'm going to include it now. Just close some of these windows so I don't have so I'm not lagging. All right. All right. So the other news that I do have is that obviously Virgil van Dijk is on the verge of signing a new contract as well. The sticking point is whether he gets 2, if not 3 years. I have seen reports saying that we are offering him 3 years. I also have seen some reports saying that's going to be 2 years. And then there's the someone's okay. There's the option of 2 years and an option year for a third. I wouldn't mind seeing, if you're going to offer Mo Salah 3 years, I would not mind offering Virgil van Dijk 3 years as well. I think it would be perfect for them to have their careers with Liverpool co-align with the exit, if they are going to exit Liverpool at some point. Obviously, they will, at least on the pitch, that it be at least tied to being at the same moment. Not necessarily guaranteed, but certainly tied to being at the same moment.
Yeah, he basically passed that ball into the back of the net. I thought he had shades of Fowler, that finish. The Fowler was good at them ones. He just like place it in the, you know what I mean? Not particularly powerful, didn't hit it particularly hard, just placed it where the keeper just could not get to it. It was beautiful, wasn't it? He enjoyed it as well, didn't he? The celebration. He was like, what that? What do you reckon of that?
Okay.
Go ahead, Mo.
I was gonna say it was also reported. Okay, so what also going to say is that the Real Madrid are not interested in signing Virgil van Dijk apparently this summer, nor this January window. Obviously, we're not going to give up our captain in the middle of this campaign. That would be absolutely ludicrous. Even regardless of whatever offer was out there on the table, and that's good to see and hear. I think that's also good to hear is that Virgil's not stressing about this, about the contract, whether it goes into January or not. He's not really stressing it. He thinks it's going to get done and it'll get handled. And right now he's concentrating on the season, which is what we'd like to hear from our captain. Another thing that is out there is that Bayern Munich's left back, Alphonso Davies, the 24-year-old, is apparently open to a Premier League move this summer. I know that has been put out there that it was not guaranteed, but was certainly preferred as a destination was Real Madrid. But like any player, especially if I was his agent, I would be putting it out there and saying, "Hey, don't shut every door up. Don't shut every option that you have out there. Or if anything, make the other team sweat it out that you might not be a guarantee for yourself to go to that club." So that's the case right now. Manchester United and Liverpool are among the clubs interested in the Canadian. That is reported by TBR Football. It's a very promising situation. I would not mind seeing that happen. I would love to see it happen as a free in the summertime. I don't mind seeing it happen if it means we give an offer of, maybe 15, 20 million or something like that, just so that Bayern Munich doesn't get left, holding no bag. So I would love to see that too, or I would be open to see that as well. The big sticking point with the Alphonso Davies thing is that he might be leaning, and this is only my personal opinion, but he might be leaning more towards Manchester United than he is towards Liverpool, considering that Manchester United might concede to his wage demands more so than Liverpool would possibly do. Not saying that Liverpool won't match whatever it is that he's asking for, but he is asking for quite a bit of money. I think it's north of 200,000 that he's asking to be paid. The other news that I have out there.
I'd say that. I think he's the best. I think because when you look at footballers nowadays, I don't really care what position you're playing. It depends on what you're putting into the team, what you're showing on the pitch. And for me, Alphonso Davies, athletically, one of the best, fast as anything. And imagine a team with him and Trent on each side of each other,
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. If
that'd
you could
be the
do
best in the
something
world.
All respect, dude, the Simicast. But if you could tell me that we had a left back pair of, Robbo and Davies, I'd be fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And Robbo, I'm certain wouldn't be exactly, it might prolong Robbo's career internationally, and that might be something that he wants to do anyway. So I definitely would be very much open to that. There is also reports outside of Liverpool. Obviously, Manchester United is asking for about £50 million for Marcus Rashford. That's according to Offside. Good luck in getting that. Arsenal.
That is offside, that news.
Yeah. Arsenal are reportedly
monitoring. VAR on that one, JK.
You know what I mean, bro?
Arsenal are reportedly monitoring Wolves' 25-year-old Brazilian forward, Matheus Cunha, who could become available if the Midlands club are relegated to the Championship. But right now,
very Arsenal player. Very Arsenal.
Yeah.
He'd be good for them.
It doesn't look like they're right now. The Wolves have started to pull it together, and obviously Cunha is a part of that pursuit. So I don't think that they would let go of Cunha, certainly in the January window, and possibly, seal their fate of getting into that relegation zone. So I think that it's not a January move for them. So that's, by summertime, who knows if that still would be a viable option for Arsenal. But the last thing I would probably say on that is, who cares? The next thing, who cares? Right? The other Brazilian winger or Brazilian forward I was going to talk about is that apparently Antony has had offers to leave Manchester United. But what's really interesting, and this is reported by Give Me Sport, and this is according to Antony's agent. The club do not want the 24-year-old to depart. So they said that they're getting offers, but the club is sold on Antony. There you go.
Nah, that's just to get the fee a bit higher. That's just to get the fee a bit higher. We want to keep him, but if you offer us £20, you can have him. We want to keep him though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Big up M. Tarmizi in the house, definitely. He brought this up before, and I will reemphasize what his point is. He's saying big up off topic. Check out a clip of Kaká's son balling out in Brazil youth tournament. I know that he's very high on Kaká's son and the possibilities of him being a future star. I don't know too much, but I'm going to check that out. I'm definitely going to look for that. Give a look for that video. The other thing I was going to say is there is another player that is linked with possibly both Manchester clubs. Actually, he's linked with both Manchester clubs. And it's something that is going to be interesting for us in this regard. Now, there was a moment in time that we were possibly interested in Dani Olmo. Very talented player. We were certainly interested in possibly making him a Red the year before this, even the year before that. But it never, obviously, it never got to that point. Apparently, Manchester United, Manchester City are all looking at this player as a possibility because Dani Olmo's agent was reportedly seen in Manchester. Okay. And the reason why it's interesting is because Barcelona, despite, them, they've come down from their high status earlier in the year where they're flying high. But Barcelona, despite them getting some of their even financial issues taken care of, apparently by mortgaging some of their assets and also meaning the rights for some of their broadcast rights and such, and also in that Barcelona has signed a new deal, a new advertising deal that is going to be a substantial increase in their coffers. They still have had they're still struggling to register the Spain midfielder. So Dani Olmo's 26 years old. This is being reported by the Mail that they're struggling to sign him before the January 1st deadline. They're 4 days away from that, obviously. So Dani Olmo's looking at possibilities of if he can't get signed and get registered for Barcelona, maybe moving on to another club. Manchester City obviously is in the market for something in that midfield because we see what their midfield looks like right now, and we see what their team looks like without that midfield being assured. Manchester United, whole different story. Top to bottom, I have no idea what's going on with that club. But Dani Olmo would certainly be a boost to their efforts. 2 questions. A, would you be interested in seeing Liverpool possibly get involved in discussions with Dani Olmo's agent? Since he's in England, maybe have him over for lunch and say, hey, how's it going? Heard you having a little issue. Or is Dani Olmo maybe just someone that ship has sailed now that we have the likes of other players?
He's gone, hasn't he? We're not going to get him. No way we're going to be able to get him. I really did covet him and thought, oh yeah, he'd be a wonderful signing, but it was never going to happen. He wanted to go back to Spain, didn't he?
Okay. I mean, he's in Spain now, but I'm just saying that he is a player that reportedly is looking for his best interest. I mean, I'm sure he would love to stay in Spain, but if Barcelona can't afford to get him on registered, then. And again, that's a good question, Kevin. Does he play as a 10? I don't necessarily look at him possibly being in the pivot. Is it maybe that he's just not a fit for what we have formation wise? JK, what do you think? Let's see. Possibly. Or
can you just repeat which player were you talking about, bro?
Okay. Well, let me ask Brian the question, and then you'll get through then. How about Brian? What would you say?
Yeah, I think he's a great little player.
Dani Olmo is what we're talking about.
Yeah, if you're going to bring him in, yeah, definitely. It's going back probably it's probably even going back to when Edwards was here the first time. We're been linked with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, very much, not saying a Firmino type, but definitely that kind of half and half number 10, false 9. But yeah, in the pocket, he showed up again in the Euros. If he's like, if it's kind of that thing, if they don't want him, they don't want him, right? But if you want someone that does the things that he does, he's got to be one of the best out there. So if that's the position they're looking at, the skill set they're looking at, the profile they're looking for, he got a bit of a knockback. I think he got an injury, right? He was hot news. He's going here, he's going there. And I think he got a bit of a setback and he went quiet for a while. But yeah, I'd still be all over him. Man.
Okay. Interesting. M. Tarmizi just said this comment. He says he'd rather Frankie de Jong, despite his injury history, him and Grav in the pivot with Mac at the 10, and also their Alejandro Balde for the left back would be an option if we were looking at, I guess, trying to do a Barcelona raid. I bring up that part and point, and I'll get JK's and Lee's opinion on it as well again, if he wants to reemphasize his disinterest in going for Danny. And that is there is a report out there, and let me be sure to pull up who is the report by. There is a report that Frankie de Jong, because of what I just said about Barcelona, is, according to Team Talk, very, very possibly an option that Liverpool will bring in to shore up their midfield. Liverpool are reportedly keen on bolstering their midfield with the addition of Frankie de Jong, according to Team Talk. The Barcelona playmaker has emerged as a strong candidate for the Reds as they plan for possibly the summer window. But it is something of an interest that they could maybe make a move for him even in the January window. I don't think they'll do the January window. I think it's more likely summer.
Bit tricky deal to get done. Be great, great. I'd love it, but bit tricky deal to get done, that one.
Yeah, this is what the report is saying. So this is why it's appealing. Yes, that's in Team Talk. I think Team Talk is relatively reliable. The Dutch midfielder's name, blah, 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 blah. De Jong's ability to control, da, 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 da. But as Team Talk noted, Liverpool, this is the quote, Liverpool have been put on alert as Barcelona are ready to listen to offers worth around. And let me say this is why it perked my interest and is something that I would be more than interested in doing if we can work out something for obviously his we're not even going to get remotely close to the salary that he makes at Barcelona. But it is being said that Barcelona are ready to listen to offers worth around 35 million euros, around, which is about 29.1, let's just call it 29 million pounds, basically. So for 29 million pounds, they are willing to part ways with Frankie de Jong. I know that's well under his evaluation, his original evaluation of 63 million pounds, but the 27-year-old is someone that they are looking to cut ties with his salary and his salary demands and the likes. I'll go more in depth in another episode. Maybe we can do that tomorrow or something. I have a couple other stories that I wanted to go more in depth with. But quick question: Frankie de Jong, Danny Olmo, who you're making a move for?
Yep. I like de Jong. Always liked him as a player. Don't know what's happened to him injury-wise. Hasn't seemed to ever get his career like playing regular football, you know. For me, wasted talent. Maybe like the wages he's on is like mad. He's on top wages, so he's probably thinking, "I want to play football." You know, that's why he's here on this planet to play football. Actually, the wages are going to come anyway. But for me, he's a wasted talent. But I'd love to have him at Liverpool if he stayed fit.
Okay. Lee, do you want to comment on this real quick too? I have one last thing. I know we're coming up on a 3 hour mark, so I want to get done by 3 hour mark. But do you have something you want to add? Because I have one other point to bring out about another news topic.
No, go on.
Well. Yeah, go with that one. Go with the new one. Go with the next thing.
The new one? Okay.
Yeah.
The last topic I wanted to get out there is that apparently
Team Almo, by the way. Team Almo.
Okay.
Team Almo. So, yeah.
The last one I wanted to get in there, again, we'll have another show tomorrow, is Liverpool first team coach John Heitinga. Heitinga, I think that's how I pronounce his name.
Johnny Heitinga, yeah.
Heitinga. That's how you say it. Heitinga. John Heitinga is apparently leading the list of candidates to replace Carlos Corberán as West Brom boss. That's according to Football Insider.
Well, he went to Valencia. Yeah, Corberán Valencia took him from West Brom in about 12 hours. Yeah. I saw a story on The Guardian at around like midday and saying Valencia apparently interested in West Ham's Corberán, and about 12 hours later, story Valencia signed Corberán as manager. He's apparently very highly rated. So yeah, that's can we see that? I don't know how integral is Heitinga to Slot. Is he? I don't know a lot about their relationship.
Yeah,
it'd be a bit of an early leave. He'd be jumping ship a bit early, wouldn't he?
Yeah, that's what would be weird for me, is that he'd be, I get that opportunities, happen and the likes, but let's be honest.
He's on to a good thing right now.
He's on to a good thing right now. I get that he's on to a really, really good thing right now. I don't know if the opportunities and the opportunities and the limelight, or just the claim that you'll get, will certainly be higher if you're a part of a staff that ends up winning a Champions League or a Premier League title, or both, or even more.
Yeah, I can't see it. But money talks, ambition talks. Maybe West Brom is a big club in the Championship. They do have money. They have ambition. They always have ambition. But I do think it is a bit early. JK, you'll know a bit more about West Brom from that part of the world.
What I've heard recently from West Brom fans that they're sick and tired of that guy being their manager. A lot of them wanted him sacked. He's too defensive minded. So him going is actually the guy up. The one who's on to Valencia then. Like for me, a lot of him didn't really want him there, So for me, it's a blessing in disguise. Mad. It's mad he just got up and gone. West Brom problem with them, draw too many games in this season. Like they drew about, if you look at their record, they drew about 10 games in about 12. That's the truth. Like it's just mad. So, but the fans were saying he's too defensive minded. So a lot of them will be happy he's gone. Depends on who they're getting next. West Brom. They should go for Mark Robbins. I think he was a good little manager at Coventry,
Interesting to see that what Hylas put in, that Slot and Heitinga didn't know each other at all before we hired him. Before we hired Heitinga. It's interesting. But yeah, he's doing a good job, isn't he, Heitinga? I didn't even notice him. My dad noticed him. I was watching it in my dad's Liverpool game, and with my dad being a Blues, like, there's Johnny Heitinga there, isn't it? It's like, is it? It's only right. I didn't even know. That was on the opening day, like, you know what I mean? Didn't even know.
I did see it get mentioned by a couple of people in a couple of chats, you know, kind of, oh, what's all this with bringing in Johnny Heiting? You know, the usual knobheads. You know, he used to play for Everton, so, you know, you know.
He's a coach.
So I did know, I'd known it had happened purely because people were saying, what the hell are we doing hiring an ex, you know, a blue nose, you know, and all that. So, but I wasn't sure if he was a slot part of his coaching backroom staff that he brought in or someone we had heard. I assumed as his assistant, which he looks like, or is he his assistant manager or just one of the coaches? I don't know. I don't know a lot about Klopp's. I keep saying it, man. Slots backroom stuff. I don't know a lot about them. Maybe we should do a show where we, not a whole show, but maybe we have a segment where we look at who they are.
We get to meet have a proper introduction to the staff.
Yeah, get the names
before
what
they come
do,
out with
who
like
they are,
a
where they
book
came from.
Yeah, before they
Before they write their books.
Class.
Yeah, JK, plug your ears, JK.
He's not the top assistant coach, but I think how it goes is like, he's the assistant coach, but because he didn't coach the when that Southampton game happened, he wasn't the coach.
Well, there you go then. Yeah. So it was some other dude, right? Yeah.
Right.
Jeez, even that's a bit unambitious by West Brom, isn't it? I mean, no disrespect.
That was the coach. Yeah. It was
no
disrespect
that was to hiding it, but if West Brom are looking at a guy that isn't even our assistant manager, it's not. It's a bit fucking. I don't know. Disrespect to either of them.
Olshoff is the first assistant coach, and then Heitinga is the assistant coach, as being the title that he has. And I think the first assistant coach means that you're like the top dog. In the assistant coach, tiers at least.
Well, you can't be assistant manager anymore, you see, because nobody's a manager.
Nope.
Slot is head coach. He's
head
not
coach.
manager.
He's not manager.
Be assistant manager. Yeah, you can't have an assistant manager now because you don't have a manager. So, yeah, this other guy, Zubi, whatever your name is, Zutzi or whatever, he would have been in the day the assistant manager, and Heiting would have been head coach. So yeah, that's your structure. He's third in line.
Yeah,
that's I would have been expecting West Brom to go for someone bigger. JK, I don't know what you like. Is that real link?
Weird one, bro. I was surprised. I don't know. Like, I think he was going to get sacked anyway. Like, they lost to Derby yesterday, 2-1. They're not winning enough games to start the season off well. But for me, who can West Brom? West Brom, they're a good championship sort of team. They've sort of been in the Premier League a few times, got relegated, come back up, whatever. But for me, they need, I would say, a well-established manager. Heitinga, he's only been in the job like 5 minutes with us, I don't think he's going to give that up to be manager of West Brom. That's my opinion.
Yeah, he'd last 5 minutes there. He'd get 3 bad results in a row, and everyone would be like, he has no experience. What's he ever done?
Yeah, that'd be,
that's
why I don't see it actually happening.
Yeah. Like, I know if Ant was I know you've hit the 3 hours, so I'll let you close up shop.
Let's close up the shop. You don't have to go home, but you got to get up out of here because we are going to be closing the shop down for today, but we will be reopening tomorrow at the same time, same bat channel, or same Reds channel, I should say. How they say same bat time, same bat channel. But we will be back. We'll have some more information. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth. I do have an actual piece that I did do for the Frankie de Jong piece as to how we could possibly see it happen, on how it could benefit us, and how it could be a surprise addition in the January window if it actually were to get to that stage. It is still very wishful thinking, but all the same. And We will hopefully have back the entire panel, if not more, for tomorrow. And most certainly, we want to offer out the warm invitation for you all to not only join yourselves tomorrow, but bring a friend. Tell a family member or whatever. Hey, this is a good place to be. It's a good spot. We all get to say our parts and points. We all appreciate each other. We try to do our best in being respectful to each other, because most of all, we're all Reds here, and that's what matters. It's not necessarily all about just being right. It's about being a Red that is important to us. So therefore, we appreciate you joining us and contributing and subscribing, supporting, doing everything that is righteous in my humble opinion. And I really do appreciate that. So, yeah, everyone likes the music. That's good stuff. Is the theme music original? It's very good. And 69. Yeah. Original is music I can use. Yeah. I wish it was my own music per se, but yeah. But it is music that I have the rights to use. So yeah, I guess you could say it's mine, because I paid for the rights to use it. Ibu will be back in January, not sure exactly when, but he has started training in the gym and weight room. Yep. I'm hoping that we could see him for that Manchester United matchup. But if not, Joey G, hold it down, do your thing. And again, hopefully we even see a little reemergence from from Kwanzaa. So from Q. So let's get it going, people, for tomorrow. Appreciate your time. Definitely appreciate the fact that you contributed today. Big up to the panel. Lee, anything you want to say to the people before we bounce?
Well, just thanks everyone. Cheers for tuning in and contributing. See you again. Nice.
Enough said, definitely. Brian, anything you want to say to the people?
No, I just want to say Red Rebellion. Some lovely comments tonight.
That is. He says some very kind words.
Yeah, kind words.
Yeah, but we also had a back and forth, myself and I said we did disagree, on a couple of points, and we were chatting in the YouTube chat, and as you said, like, it's always respectful. It's never, if you'd like some drama, you've got my channel. You can do some drama over there. If you want some drama, we can do some drama over there.
Right. You got the it's the Irish version of EastEnders or something, right?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah.
There you go. JK, how about for you? Any shouts?
Yeah, bless up, man. Thanks for the kind words, Red Rebellion TV. If you got a channel, we'll try and get your link up next show, no problem.
Yeah. I'm gonna definitely make sure that I subscribe and try to. If you do have a channel, then we will certainly do our best to put it out there so that people can join as well. And I guess last but not least, big up to each and every one of you that does your part in just keeping the spirits high, man. Just keeping them good vibrations, like the Big Lebowski says, like, you're messing with my Zen thing, man. I don't want to have to say that, So appreciate the Zen thing. Definitely got it going on. Whenever we see a lot of you in the chat, it really does make the difference. It does make the difference also when we see you on other channels as well. At least we know we're not alone in trying to spread the message and also big up our Reds. But hey, top of the leagues, plural. So top of the league to you. Top of the league to you. You can say it like Jimmy 2 times, something like that. Go give me the papers. So so big up to each and every one of you. We will see you tomorrow. Wish you the best. And as always, up the Reds, people. Up the Reds. We'll see you soon.